We gotta start streaming. There we go. We're streaming. We're good. So what I actually did was they have a go live now button that I always friggin' click on, and yeah. So there we go. We are streaming now. So hopefully that link will work. A few minutes late, but
Should I keep my webcam on?
yeah. People need to see your face. They need to know who we're looking at here. Otherwise I'm just talking to a random voice and it's just me, and it makes me feel awkward when that happens. So I'd rather not be just by myself. So I'm trying to do some proper cropping here, but I really suck at cropping in OBS. So people are just going to have to deal with that, and we'll have to worry about it later because I'm bad at cropping.
You should put a big picture of like titties or something in the background too.
I feel like that would get my video taken down.
Really?
Yeah, you can't show porn and stuff on
Well, why not classify it as art? Put a big picture.
Art. What would they? How would you put that? You would have to put it as like creative.
Well, you're demonstrating
under YouTube's creative content protection or something like that. I don't.
Yeah,
know.
like freedom of speech of some sort.
Yeah, but you can't. Speeching titties is different from actually showing actual real titties.
But all you're demonstrating is the human mating process involving yoga positions. See?
I don't
so
even.
Now it's religion.
I feel like you're not allowed to show titties on YouTube. I haven't looked it up, but I feel like that is how it goes. Anyways, time for the intro. This is another tech show, which we've actually never done an intro before, but we're going to do it once this time since Mike the Professor is here. And Mike Phillip is watching as well, which they do a radio talk show called Americanuck Radio, which is super sweet. I actually don't know, even though you've told me 100 times what radio channel it is, so I just put the link to your guys' podcast in the description because that'll get them to where they need to go and figure out more information about them. So Mike the Professor just knows pretty much everything about everything, so it's nice to have him on the show. And like I said, I felt like doing it slightly more professional than usual because I have actual professionals listening and watching, and so I feel under pressure. You guys make me have to do cool things. I don't have any of the wacky sound effects and cool stuff that you guys do, or an intro, because I'm... I want to say too busy, but I'm going to go ahead and blame probably like 40% of that on just being lazy. So...
I could talk to Mike for you about that and see what he says. I mean...
What, being lazy? Or
no,
overall lower production value?
God, my girlfriend's ringing the bell.
Uh-oh. Does that mean you have to go answer the door for her?
Do you mind if I have a 2-second break,
everybody?
Go
ahead. Go for it. So Mike's going to take a quick break real quick, and I'm going to sit here and chit-chat and probably crop my thing so it matches his. But so we got a little bit of news coming out for you guys, nothing too extreme. Obviously, there's been leaked stuff on the GTX 1060, which everyone's talking about. I'm not 100% sure if that's something I'm completely interested in, and I don't want to blow it more out of proportion than it already has been. Not saying as far as performance goes, but saying as far as just getting the hype up. For no reason, because you guys have been hearing about that stuff all week long. But we do have a few topics. I am going to wait for Mike to get back to talk about some of them. He's got a girlfriend, probably not as needy as my girlfriend, but probably still nonetheless needy as every other woman. I was talking about your girlfriend being needy, like women, like my women.
Oh, well, she just doesn't have a key.
Needy. Oh, no, that was an exaggeration. I doubt she's, you should see my girlfriend. Good thing she doesn't watch my live streams, otherwise I wouldn't be calling her needy as fuck. But she knows she's needy, so she can't get mad at me. So first one I think we should go through, as far as topics go, I want to talk about the copycat, because my brother recently downloaded that Pokemon app. So if you want to pull up the article, which is
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, Pokemon Go app is starting to hit markets, but people are saying that they can basically incorporate malware into your system that can allow the hacker or potential person who wants your phone to get full access, like complete remote full access, and take control of your device using Droid Jack. And the reason that this is actually becoming an actual thing is because it's not released worldwide yet. So you're seeing these apps pop up kind of third-party sketchy-ish on the app market, and it technically shouldn't be in the app market yet. But it's showing up as, on the app market, and people don't question it because they think it's the real thing, But it's not the real thing. It's actually injecting malware into your system. So they're saying they haven't seen this done yet, but it's a huge possibility, which I think is kind of sad to mention in that kind of sense, because now you're just giving people ideas. why would you post this like this if it hasn't happened yet? Now people are just going to go crazy and start doing it. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
Well, that tends to be the trend with a lot of news stories, right? It kind of enables the crooks and the criminals, and like you're basically telling them, hey, just so everybody knows, there's a potential back door in the new Pokemon game, which 10 million people are going to download every minute. Because it's like the first.
Well, it's not that there's a back door. It's because it's not released worldwide. So you're getting countries or states or regions that aren't getting it yet. So since they haven't got it yet, they're looking for it and like, why don't I have it? So then this third-party person goes and uploads a kind of malware. Yeah, basically a malware-infested Pokemon Go app. So people have been playing this like crazy. I've been seeing a few of the popular YouTubers on Twitter talking about how they're going to have to explain to their neighbor why they're in their front yard trying to catch a Bulbasaur. So I thought that was actually really funny. Sadly, I have a Windows Phone, and Windows Phone does not seem to offer it. So definitely stay away from this app if you see it on the Windows Phone, because it might be some form of malware or something. But this is for Android devices, so using Droid Jack isn't going to work on a Windows Phone, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm pretty sure they could find other ways to get malware into whatever the hell they want. So do you have an Android phone?
I have 7.
What's your main phone?
This is one of my phones. It's a Motorola G3.
And it's an Android market? I am bad with phones. Sorry.
Yeah, it's got the Play Store and everything.
Okay.
And let me just see here. I'm just going to. Yeah,
would you play this game? I would play it. I don't
have it, but I'm gonna just check what it says on the Play Store because I'm in Canada, right? So I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure. Oh God, I just put PO and it automatically shows up with Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Let me just see here.
Pornhub. One of the Pornhub or Pokemon Go, either one works.
I do not have Pokemon Go at all.
Okay.
This is what I get.
But
I don't know
people
if you can see it.
Yeah, it's kind of showing up really white, but I do see a Pokeball. It's probably some weird third-party Pokemon apps that you use for when you're playing the DS that you can use to run, kind of like how they used to give out those strategy guides, I guess. Yeah, I don't see a Pokemon Go app. What is that? Chat for Pokemon Go?
Chat for Pokemon Go, guide for Pokemon Go.
So you're not getting it on is that the Google Play Store then? So it seems like it's only going to be an Android thing with Android. So if you have an Android phone, which I feel like a lot of people compared to Windows users, iPhone users, and Google Play users, a lot of people are going to have Androids. I definitely think that's a huge population of the phone market. So be careful downloading it. Basically, you want to make sure that it's where is it saying that it's properly signed for, basically. And that it's trustworthy. Also want to look up to make sure your region released Pokemon Go, because if your region didn't release it, then chances are it's probably not a legitimate Pokemon Go, and just stay away from it so you don't get the crap hacked out of you, because that's a terrible way to get things going.
And officially it's not out in Canada, as we just saw on live footage.
So you're one of the region. Well, that was on the Google Play Store. It might be on an Android phone if you have an Android app market, or is that?
Well, this is the same. It's the same.
The same? Okay.
Yeah, the same.
See, I'm not a phone guy, so I really don't know. I use my Windows phones to make phone calls, which is sad. TechTuber, I have an expensive computer, but I use my cell phone as a cell phone. Believe it or not.
I basically. Okay, I'll say this on live video. I hack everything that I get.
There's nothing wrong with that. I used to hack the crap out of iPods.
I root everything. I jailbreak everything. Mm-hmm. All my consoles are hacked.
My DS was hacked to crap too. You've ever heard of an R4?
I've got maybe 30 R4 cards. I've got gateway cards.
DS. Oh my god.
I've got all kinds of stuff.
Games, movies, media player on a DS. Nintendo DSs were the shit. For $150, you could have an MP3 / MP4 player. So like a little DVD, or you could have any game that was made for Nintendo DS on it without an issue for like $20 total.
I had a Game Boy Advance MP3 cartridge.
Wow.
That used to take full-sized SD cards and mini SD cards.
I've never even heard of that.
Do you remember mini SD? Do you remember that at all? Not micro.
I might have some.
Yeah, not micro.
I don't know what a mini SD looks like. I have a bunch right here though. I have
It's literally like the size between a micro SD and a regular SD.
Then yes, I probably do have them. I have micro SDs. I have regular SD cards as well. It's just all for camera stuff. You know what I mean? When you have the YouTube channel and you have a bunch of different cameras, some of them take different cards because I'm not rich enough to afford $5,000 cameras. So I think my camera is only like $300, which is still expensive for me when I look at it as a camera because I only use it for the channel, you know. But you know, that's just how investments go. So yeah, we can move on from the copycat one, and we can go on to you ranting about Nintendo because. I want to hear more about the Nintendo NX, and I don't know much about it. I haven't actually heard about it. They're saying that they're going to reveal the console 2016 is when they revealed it.
Well, they haven't revealed it yet.
Then why does it say that it's announcements that would reveal at 2016? They were already closing in on the end of 2016. When are they coming out of this?
We have still not seen anything. Okay. Mm-hmm. We've had people making, I don't know if you heard about this, but we've had people making mock-ups of fake NX controllers. So what happened was Nintendo made a bunch of patents for like a full touchscreen controller with analog nubs and whatever. They've made all these different patents in the past few years. So what people have been doing is taking those patents and making concept like 3D printed things and stuff and telling people, hey, the new controller for the Nintendo NX has been leaked. And it got millions upon millions of views, and all of a sudden 2 days later the guy's like, because Nintendo was like, no, that's not us.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is not a tech, he's not a tester, he's not a beta tester.
Yeah, he's not involved with Nintendo whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's sad that people will reach out like that for attention to kind of get that. And a lot of review online articles, they'll sit there and just pull the shit out of it, you know what I mean, to get those big views and clicks, which is kind of sad.
Clickbait, exactly. Yeah. Everything has become a business, right? Mm-hmm. The North America, for the most part, is a fascist country. Fascist area. I guess 2 countries: Canada and the United States. I'm in Canada. You're in the U.S. It's all fascism. Okay, business runs everything. Mm-hmm. And what happens is everybody will do whatever it takes to make a quick buck.
Yeah,
okay?
Definitely.
And so the guy. Granted, they actually looked really cool. Mm-hmm. 2 people made similar looking controllers that didn't even know each other.
They make it in like Photoshop or something, probably.
They 3D printed it, and then they'll. Okay. Yeah,
seems like a lot of work to fake something.
But millions of views in no time, right? Like,
yeah.
And you got. Then they get their notoriety, but all of a sudden 3 days later he says, "Oh no, I just made that. My 3D printer. It was all just bullshit."
Yeah, I'm just an asshole.
Yeah, so Nintendo themselves has not really said much. At first they said it's going to be the same as an Xbox One in terms of power, which is marginally the exact same as a PS4. I mean, they share the same architecture except for, a few clock.
The PS4 actually, PlayStation more or less has always invested in basically one tier up if they can, which they probably are going to keep continuing to do as far as that goes for their hardware. But they're not necessarily the same. The PS4 can pull a little bit more horsepower out over the Xbox. We're not sure about the new ones yet. We'll have to actually wait for the new ones to come out. Frankly, I don't give a shit about them because I'm not a console gamer. But, if they're trying to aim for what Xbox... Are they going to aim for what the new Xbox One can come out at? Or are they aiming for the old one?
See, that's the thing. We don't know, right? It's a big, big, big difference. Originally, when they noticed that the Wii U was basically down the toilet, and they started talking about NX, which was over a year ago. Their original concept was that it's going to be as powerful as the Xbox that we have now. Okay, the Xbox.
Okay. The originally,
Xbox One or 360? So the Xbox One.
Okay. Which isn't enough to power VR, which you were saying they were trying to implement into this.
It's a low-level AMD octa-core processor with 3 cores already shut down. You've got 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM in it. That's
it? I thought they would have at least gone for DDR5. That's what the Xbox One has.
The Xbox One actually is only using DDR3, I believe.
No, they're using. If I remember correctly, they were using 8 gigs. Here, I can look it up for you. Since
let's look because or maybe the video RAM is DDR3. I know that the PS4 is DDR5.
Basically it's because they're using an APU in these. They're not using dedicated video cards.
Exactly. Both of them are using...
So basically they're using, I would assume, DDR5 memory, And I remember hearing that they were going to be using it in the Xbox as well. Here's the Xbox One specs. It just says 8 gigs. Yeah, I guess it says 8 gigs of DDR3 clocked at 2133, and that's it. Wow. Okay.
And that's the PlayStation 4 is using DDR5, and that's where the slight advantage comes from. The CPU for the Xbox One is actually clocked higher. It actually has a higher frequency.
It's just running on slower RAM, less bandwidth.
Exactly, and that's where the kick in the nuts happens, because they're using the exact same CPU, clocked slightly differently, but they're both using the same CPU, same everything, or APU in that case, yeah. And the main difference is the DDR3 versus DDR5.
Yeah.
So that's and that's actually one of the few times that you'll see an actual difference, because I can go back. You did one recently, actually. You can take things like a Core 2 Duo or a Core 2 Quad with DDR2 RAM, and then you could take an equivalent dual core of a slightly, like, I'm not going to say an i3, but let's say like a Pentium dual core.
Yeah.
Okay. You could take that.
They support DDR3 and DDR4 now, depending which Haswell or Skylake.
Yeah. But let's say we were to take the DDR3 version of whatever Pentium dual core, put it against the Core 2 Duo. You're not actually going to see a big difference due to the RAM. You'll see a difference
in gaming.
Exactly.
Yeah, but in productivity standpoint, the RAM speed will definitely make a difference. But in gaming, not too big of it.
Not much. Maybe 2 frames.
If you should, I know you don't have a Twitter, so it's hard to follow me. But I've been telling people follow me on my Twitter, because whenever I do like the $85 PC, which is actually sitting behind me in the background.
I love those, by the way. I love those videos.
Thank you very much. It's been a lot of work, and I have finished the benchmark. I was up till 4 in the morning last night doing the benchmarks and just editing the benchmark video. Like, I haven't even started editing the actual review video. It's literally just the numbers video. And let's just say I can play pretty much any of the games that I want to play at 1080p. Medium or so settings, which is. And
I gotta give you a high five for the little demonstration of the benchmark. The teaser. I appreciate
Someone
that.
Someone instantly disliked it because it was a teaser, and it just made me laugh. I was like, the trolls on YouTube make me laugh.
How can you dislike?
Well, it says it was a teaser.
But I don't even understand how you could dislike it. You said it right at the beginning. You said, "Hey, this is a little taste of what I can do with this, ancient PC." And in relative terms, it's almost 10 years old, right?
Yeah, close to it. I think the Q6600 was 2007.
Yeah, so 9-10 years old, and you're playing a 2-year-old game.
Yeah, well, I've played Overwatch on it too.
Yeah,
it can run Crysis 3. That's hilarious too.
Yeah, Junebug would be happy to hear that.
Oh God.
Mike and I, we were talking about Junebug actually a little bit, and we were kind of glad that she didn't call in to creep him out. She's a stalker,
Yeah, that seems, like I said, she was a little bit creepy.
She's probably
so far, I haven't
nice lady, though.
I haven't listened to this week's show because I always catch them on your guys' podcast, since, like I said, I have radio problems on a cell phone. So I listen to them. Probably end up listening to it on Tuesday when I'm at work. But yeah, the couple times I've heard her call in, when she called in 2 or 3 times now.
Oh yeah,
she's always really happy and upbeat and very, like, kind of cute, innocent. But at the same time, you get that weird stalker, like, whoa, calm down, girl, calm down. So yeah, but anyways, we got super off topic. We'll shoot back to the Nintendo one. So they're basically coming out with Nintendo, which they want to be Xbox One specs. Let's hope that they aim for the Xbox One Scorpio specs or the PlayStation Neo specs, because otherwise this thing will not be VR capable.
Well, that's the thing, right? So what happened was, originally it was going to be Xbox One specs. Mm-hmm. Now they said that they're bringing it back to the drawing board, and those were all just ideas and concepts and whatever. So now they're saying that they're going to have to delay it a little bit more, and then the VR, boom hit recently, right, with the launch of the Vive and the
which I can kind of care less about.
Oculus. You know what? I remember virtual reality back in the early 90s at museums and stuff, and there used to be a show called...
we've come a long way since the 90s, though.
Yeah, I know, but there used to be a show called Nickelodeon Arcade. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no.
This guy named Mikey did a show, so you get contestants that answer a bunch of trivia questions, and then they have to compete in, like, Neo Geo games or Super Nintendo games, and they all have these objectives. Like, you do a little showdown, and then at the end, whoever wins, whichever group of kids wins, they get to go into this virtual reality game, and it's
Never
the
even
old
heard of
school.
that.
It's the old school virtual reality. It's like the beta of Kinect back in like we're talking like 1993, bro.
Oh, okay.
And like you
Super old.
basically you point your hand somewhere, and all of a sudden your guy will start floating in that direction.
Oh
So
no.
it's like the pre beta of Kinect, and
Okay.
it's like pre alpha stage, and that was really really big for a bit. So Nintendo wanted to capitalize on that. They made the Virtual Boy.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, they
and
also came out with the Wii. The original Wii was pretty intense.
yeah,
That was
exactly.
a very good idea, and it sold well. It really did.
Do you know what? I actually rather love the Wii.
Yeah, a lot
I
of people
played
do.
I played some great games. I bought
Super
you know,
Smash Brothers.
I I've got probably 500 Wii games. I probably bought like 3 of them total, but that thing was hacked right out the gate, right? Like it was like
Yeah.
the Dreamcast. I mean, people were modding it pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Um, but you know what? They had some great on-rail shooter games. They had 2 Resident Evil games that were on-rail shooters that were amazing, that worked really really well with the remote. There was Dead Space Extraction, great game. We had 2 of the best Mario games I've ever played, which was Mario Galaxy and New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah.
We had so many great games, and everybody loves to talk shit about the Wii. Why they say, well, the waggle remote. Have you played Metroid Prime on the Wii?
Yeah.
It's
That's
it's
another game we haven't seen in a while. Metroid Prime needs to come back with something good.
well, I don't know if you heard about the big debacle with Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Nope. Have not heard anything about it. I
Nintendo.
don't keep up with console stuff too much because I own an Xbox that's in like 300 different pieces behind me. That's about it. I took
Let's
that thing apart for no
let's
reason.
let's talk. Oh, I was gonna say let's talk about that. Why did you piece it apart?
Well, originally it was pieced apart because back in the day when I used to play Left 4 Dead 2 on it, this is why I actually in actual reality have a computer and actually started my YouTube channel. This was I was playing Xbox, and the only game I told you before, I can play one game for hundreds, thousands of hours. You could probably heard me say it in the streams before, and that's Left 4 Dead 2. You know what I mean? I pick a game and I stick to it. I've been playing Left 4 Dead since literally the first one released. I had it pre-ordered, and I've been playing it non-stop since. So when they shut down the servers on Left 4 Dead 2 on Xbox 360, like no more public servers, shut down completely. So when you would host a game, you could only host local. So the game got boring. It took a turn for the worse. So I went to PC because PC still had open servers. But before that, I pulled my Xbox apart so I could basically make my own version of Left 4 Dead. I basically
Oh,
actually burned a CD that was an extremely modded, hacked version of Left 4 Dead to where I could literally do anything. So I could I could host my own local match, invite my friends into it, and I could do anything from spawn anything. I could turn somebody into a Coke machine, so they could run around as a Coke machine, and I could turn the infected into like a car. So like you'd turn a charger into a car and it'd just be a car running across the street. Or you could make them fly or turn them a different color or change their name or even freeze their Xbox if I wanted to. So we called that the refrigerator mod. Basically you just look at somebody and then you press the button that would freeze their Xbox and it would say your Xbox has been frozen, and then it says hashtag refrigerator mod, and then your Xbox would just freeze and you had to turn it off and turn it back on. So yeah, it was basically hacking, you know what I mean, on
that
Xbox.
that's
So
pretty funny because we did something similar with Quake One back in the day.
mhm.
We used to take just normal bitmap images and JPEGs and stuff like that, and we used to plaster them on the models, and we also used to do this with Half-Life One, which a lot of people don't know. It's actually based on the original architecture of Quake, the original Quake One engine.
And then CS:GO came
Um,
from Half-Life, and Left 4 Dead 2 came from CS:GO.
Yep, yep, and so yeah, we used to have all kinds of things like that. Like we would plaster all
Yeah,
kinds of
just
random
some modding.
textures on
So I
models.
had to pull mine apart in order to basically do a disk swap mid-load. Because it has to read and verify that it's an actual Xbox game. Then after it does that, you pull the disc out, throw your modded one in, and you're good to go from there. So
You
that's
could
what I had to do.
you could flash your Xbox 360's DVD drive.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And
Did you hear about them? Did you hear about them banning like like 150,000 Xboxes back in the day. My friend
Yes.
was one of them because he had that. It was all started because Gears of War came out, and all the idiots got the game 24 hours before it was supposed to come out and started playing it. And because of that, everybody they started banning all the Xboxes that were basically flashed over. Mine was never flashed, and I didn't really care to flash it. Seemed like too much work when I could just take it apart and put a new disc. You know what I mean? Just keep the disc drive open and just drop a new disc in there. So, but yeah, that aside, we can move on to the next topic. Fun times back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll go over to this AMD RX 480 driver and power issues. Did you hear about this whole issue with the 480?
Yeah, about the 480 taking too much power out of motherboards and basically shutting computers down. They said it was very rare though.
It's not that it's rare, and a lot of people have been skipping. Some people have said over it, but a lot of people have been fighting over why it's a problem. Now, if you have an old motherboard, now I'm talking old or like just overall low quality compared to something like the Z97 Pro or even some of the H87s, like these newer Haswell motherboards will be fine with it, but when you had like an old 775 motherboard from like a Dell Optimal or whatever the hell they call them,
BioStar or whatever that other company is.
Yeah, or something like that, then if it was old, basically, you know what I mean? If you're looking at like an 8-year-old motherboard, it would probably either hit the power safe and shut it down or burn it out. But they have fixed it. Places like Tom's Hardware and PC Pro are saying it's still slightly out of spec, but it's no longer something to cry about. It's no longer an issue, but it has been fixed with the driver. They do have a compatibility mode that you can turn on and off. I don't see why they would even give you the access to turn it on and off. I think that you shouldn't be drawing that much power from your PCI in general. But I mean, if you have a hardcore motherboard and you feel like you want to do it, then go ahead and do it. As far as its perfecting performance, it does not seem to have affected performance at all. There are some websites showing like 1 or 2%, or 1 or 2 FPS lower, but that's just probably variance. You know what I mean? That's within the realm of what is it called?
The realm of error, whatever you want to call it.
There you go.
The statistical error margin or whatever you want to call it.
Within margin of error, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. So with 1 FPS, winning or losing, that's within that margin. So it's overall looks like it's performing the same with less power. So that's a good driver update for AMD. Not bad.
Supposedly, there was a driver update that came out 2 days ago or yesterday. Mm-hmm. That has been giving people 3% increases in their power. Yeah,
they released the driver was released on top of fixing it. The driver also was supposed to release upgrades to not upgrades but performance gains in general. It was supposed to just make it more efficient.
Ultimately, I think it's an amazing price. Mm-hmm. I think the product, it's
does what it's supposed to do.
It keeps up with a 970 that's overclocked. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a 980, like they were trying to advertise it as that it's only.
Well, they weren't trying to advertise it that. People
were saying it. Yeah, people twisting words.
Leaked information from people from unreliable sources were saying that.
Yeah,
that's was saying. AMD never said anything, and when it finally launched, AMD said it's supposed to compete with the 970, and everyone got pissed because they're like, I thought it was the 980, but no one said that. I mean, well, someone said that, but no one from AMD said that. You know
what? Let's ditch Steam statistics in their surveys, okay? Because that's just a survey, and not everybody games on Steam. We got 900 million computers, okay? You got, a fifth or a 900 million PC people, okay? Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't even have a 1080p monitor. A lot of people still have 900p monitors, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's be honest and be realistic. The majority of gamers that are not using Steam, because look at me, I've got PlayStation 4, Xbox One, all this shit. I don't have Xbox Live.
Yeah.
I don't have it, and I've got a 450 megabit per second connection.
Yeah.
I could run enough internet to power 15 consoles with no problem, and I don't really use it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, if their monitor resolution is only going to have a maximum of 900p, they're not going to need something that's capable of 1440 or 4K.
Well, yeah, but for that's what the RX 480 is out for those who do want that. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing though.
With,
You can max out 1080 on the majority of games, or almost max out on one 480,
easily.
or a 970, or even even a 960 can handle the vast majority of games.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Even a 270X can.
A 270X can handle. Okay, 270X.
Is a beast.
You could play Battlefield on max settings, 720p, 60 frames with a dual core PC.
Yeah.
Okay, and did I say Battlefield or Battlefront? I'm talking about the new Star Wars.
Battlefront.
I'm talking about the new Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know why.
Which I didn't care about. A lot of people.
Yeah, I know. I loved the original and part 2. Like I played that on the original Xbox. I played it on PSP.
I played on PS2. I played on PSP a lot because a couple of my friends had PSPs, and we'd all link up in school during class. They were in like different classrooms, but we were all in the same hallway. So there'd be like 5 of us just going at it, or playing GTA on there too when they first came out with that online for the PSPs. Yeah, I was doing that a lot. But anyways, back to what you were saying.
So basically, anybody who's bitching and complaining that the 480 can't compete with a 980, the 980 wasn't made for
$200.
Yeah, that was a $700 card.
Like
I don't know how much.
$450 to $600 depending on the model.
Okay, American, right? And I'm in Canada, so $699 Canadian, right? We're about 25% difference, 30% difference. So okay, a $500 American card, okay, versus a $200 American card for a total different generation, and also that was considered an enthusiast card.
Yeah.
Right? That's when people,
that was their high-end model.
Exactly, the majority of people still rocking a 900p monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So to get a 980 and say, oh well, you know, a 480 and say, well, it's not exactly the level of a 980. If you are at 1080p or if you're at 900p,
you don't need
you're not going to benefit from a 980.
Not necessarily, no, unless you think 200 frames over 160 on a 60 hertz monitor is going to do you any good, because it's not. But I mean, there are some people that look at it that it will. You know, not everyone's as well informed as a lot of the tech community when it comes to enthusiasts. But you know, hey, it happens.
Look at the new 10 core and 12 core processors the Broadwell E. Like,
I've been thinking about buying one of the Xeons for X99. They're selling for like $150 on eBay for a 12 core, 24 thread.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about doing it because I need a rendering computer.
That's actually what my PC is. It's all leftover Xeon server parts. I've got 16 cores. I got 16 cores clocked at 3.9 gigahertz.
I don't know if you saw, I got the Q66 up to 3.4 on air.
That's a crazy overclock, bro.
That's a gigahertz over.
Yeah, the Q66 was not the most powerful. Like, I think it was the Q9800 or whatever.
Well, there were different architects. There were
different
sizes, die sizes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it, one was, I think the 65 was the Q66. They dropped all the way down to 45 nanometer for the 9000 series.
Better efficiency, right?
Yeah, and
smaller chip.
Those are good, and you can pick those up on eBay for the same price as a Pentium G. You can pick them up for around $50 to $70 for the Q90 something. The Q6600 you can pick up for like 30 or 20 on eBay. Sometimes even cheaper.
You can get a fully built Q6600 from a garage sale for like
$100.
$15.
Well, yeah, if you find a garage sale. I was gonna say, if you go on like Newegg or something, you can get them for like $100 off Newegg.
Yeah. Newegg has the Core 2 Duos all the time for like $99.
I wouldn't use the Core 2 Duo, honestly, unless you're only playing Counter-Strike Go or something. I would suggest getting the quad core, mostly for GTA 5 and newer titles like Overwatch.
Here's my recommendation to most people, okay? I'm not like, okay, you're actually in the tech world. I used to be in the tech world. We were talking about how growing up, my dad owned internet cafes, computer stores, things like that. So, and also I'm, from overseas. I'm, most foreigners are cheap. Let's face it. We want best value for, like I bought my Motorola from China, where you guys are spending $300 on it. I bought this for $58.
I bought my Windows phone. It was brand new for like $120 from Microsoft, and it works fine for me.
Yeah,
comparing that to your $600 Galaxy S7 or whatever, $700 phone. Mine gets the job done.
$700 phone to A, watch YouTube.
Yes.
B, use Facebook. C, 78% of people use their phone as a watch.
Yeah.
Google said it straight up. They said, look, more people use our phones in terms of Android. 78% use it as a watch, as in you pull it out of your pocket, you check the time.
I do all the time, yes.
And then you put it back in your pocket. Okay? And that's what the majority of people do with their phones. I could actually go and find, I have like an HTC MyTouch 4G. It's a 1 gigahertz phone with 768 megabytes of RAM. And, I could do every single thing that on that phone that I can do on my Deca-core processor. I have a Helio X20 upstairs. So 10-core processor with 4 gigs of RAM. I can do the exact same shit, except for the high-intense games.
Yeah.
How many people are playing, super high-class video
I would
games
say
anyways?
you would have to be surprised at the people that play those games on their phones. Some of those, like if you've ever YouTubed like tech reviewers and stuff like that, the phone reviewers on the tech side. Like I do computer stuff, I stay away from phones. I don't know phones.
Yeah.
But those guys that actually do the phone stuff, they actually care about. They actually benchmark the phones. You know what I mean? Which is, I find it pointless. But I guess if that's your pick your poison. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. But
they'll benchmark a phone. They'll benchmark a phone, and they'll compare the time that it takes for you to open up your browser on one phone to another, and the comparison is done in milliseconds. Okay, you have fractions of seconds. See, having more cores doesn't necessarily mean more power. Having more cores means more efficiency for multitasking.
Yeah.
But what is multitasking on your smartphone?
Well, I mean, it'll give you more power in something that can use multi-threaded
if it can utilize
applications. Yeah.
But, most people are just sitting there, oh my god, it's dinner with 5 people, and I'm in a restaurant, and I gotta pull out my phone, and I gotta check my Facebook. Oh my god, what if somebody didn't like my photo?
Yeah, I'm not a social media guy, but let's move on to the 1060 now. So if you guys didn't hear the 480, they released a driver fix. Tom's Hardware gave their official, it seems like it's good. You're all right. Thumbs up for you. So, don't worry about your motherboards blowing up. I don't know. I don't have a 480. We've already went over this last 2 shows why I don't have a 480 and how mad I am about not having one. But, you get over it.
What are you rocking right now?
In my computer?
Yeah. Your primary gaming computer.
It's 4790K at 4.8, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 980 Ti.
Oh, you got a 980 Ti.
Of course,
oh,
1440p monitor.
Bastard.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a details whore. I like it maxed out 1440p, so I got the 980 Ti to make sure that I could do that.
I've got SLI 780s. So.
Oh well, that's still good. I mean, those are.
Oh
still good.
yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. My SLI 780s can match your 980 Ti. But now think about that. Though. I have to have 2 premium cards from 4 years ago.
But you also have to have good SLI
drivers.
support.
Exactly.
Good driver support.
That's the thing. So it takes 2 premium cards in order to compete with yours.
Yeah.
Easily. And now yours.
And there's games that you won't even come close to me in games that use more than 3 gigs of RAM. I'll take a walk away from you easily because they only have 3 gig cards, right, for the 780s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to slap every single person that says, "Oh well, I've only got a 980 Ti. I need to get the 1080 or."
No, I'm not upgrading to the 1080.
It's like,
I'll wait for the 1080 Ti.
You don't need to, bro.
I don't need to, but it doesn't mean I don't want to. It's called being an enthusiast. You want to do it. You know what I mean?
Look, I do not judge people based on mental illness or how fat their wallet is. You're not gonna. You will not need anything for another 3 years.
Yes, if I want to run every single new title the second they come out completely maxed out while hitting my refresh rate, which is 100 hertz on my monitor, I'm gonna need something powerful. That's just how it's. I mean, even running 1440p Overwatch, I'm only hitting around 80, 85 frames. If I want to, the next couple games that are coming out, if I want to make sure that I'm staying around that 100 FPS mark. That's what being an enthusiast is. I mean, take those car guys for an example. If they're hitting 11 seconds on the quarter mile and they want to hit 10 seconds, it's going to cost them an extra $850, $1,500 to do that. They're going to do it, even though it's only 1 second and you don't need it. That's what being an enthusiast is. You know what I mean? You want it. So that's why I can't, like what I was saying about phone guys spending $800 on their phone. But if you're an enthusiast about it, man, that's, pick your poison, dude. I do computers and motorcycles. I can't say anything because I went and spent $700 on a graphics card. You know what I mean? So I can't say anything about how much your phone costs. But yeah, anyways, next one.
Realistically, come on, man. That's 7.
No, realistically, I could game at 720p with a GTX 750 Ti and a Q6600. But
and be totally satisfied.
Yeah, but I don't want to because I'm a graphics whore and I'm not satisfied until I'm maxing everything out at 100 FPS. So, but anyways, we'll move on. Let's look at NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 1060. So have you heard the announcement of it? If you guys don't know, it's going to have 1280 CUDA cores, 1.7 gigahertz boost clock, 6 gigs of GDDR5. Don't think it's going to be 5X, and I actually did call it. I estimated 6 gigs because that's what the 980 Ti had, and I don't think they would do 8 since the 1070 has 8.
They're doing 3 as well.
So far we haven't seen anything.
We haven't seen it, but they announced that there's going to be a 3 gig model.
No, there was a leak that there was going to be a 3 gig model. I haven't seen any announcements because now all the tech tubers have been announcing that there's only going to be a 6 gig. Either way, that 8 gigabits per second on the memory, 120 watt TDP, which is actually extremely low, especially comparing it to the RX 480, overdrawing its 150 watts, coming at about 160 to 170 depending on your overclock. So they're saying $250 MSRP. Probably $300 for their founders because they're fucking founders. Don't even pay attention to their founders editions, you guys. It's a terrible waste of money, in my opinion.
I remember when reference cards were cheaper than the
Well, anyways, the main reason I even brought up the GTX 1060 because honestly, it's been being blown up. That's why I try to stray away from a bunch of RX 480 because RX 480 news has just been in everybody's face the last couple of weeks. So I don't want to overload you on more of it. But the reason I brought it up was because they say $250 MSRP to compete with the RX 480's 8 gig model. It's not going to compete with the 199 model because the 199 model is $50 cheaper. It's going to be kind of hard to compete with that because that's getting into a decently lower bracket when you're talking about extreme budget builders. Now, the reason I brought this up was the MSRP at $250 does not sound realistic with how the rest of NVIDIA's pricing is going. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. Honestly,
do you think you're looking at maybe $325, $290?
I'm thinking $325, $350 for the founders, $275, $290, $280 for the third party ones. They always have to hype things up at a cheaper price these days. Okay, you always have to say.
AMD did that, but they met the price.
Yeah, but AMD has never really had bad business practice, right? They've only had...
Oh, they've had some shady moments, man. They definitely have.
Not compared to... Look...
They both have had their shady moments when it comes to advertisement practices.
I guess maybe, but you know what? I actually have a lot of respect for AMD because they, for the most part, deliver what they say. Okay, you're saying there's a few times that they didn't. Mm-hmm. And they don't try to corner the market. They don't try to create a monopoly. Of course, every business wants to own everything. They're trying
to create a monopoly on the lower end spectrum. That's why they rushed out the RX 480 to beat the 1060.
They're
trying to monopolize and capitalize on that lower market, which is a good idea. But that's what business is all about. We can't be mad at them for having cutthroat business practices because they're trying to make money. But either way, the main thing I wanted to talk about was the price. The problem with I have seeing is $250 sounds too good to be true.
Sounds too good to be true, and a lack of SLI.
Well, the reason they're doing that SLI thing, that in my opinion, is because if you can SLI two 960s and get the performance of a 1080
then you won't buy the 1080.
For cheaper than the 1080, a decent amount cheaper than the 1080, you wouldn't buy the 1080. But here's where they're shooting themselves in the foot, because you can strap together two 480s and get roughly close to that 1080 mark for even cheaper than what the 1060 is going to launch for. Because I hate to say it, but
that's true.
But I don't see this coming out at $250. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I want it to. Trust me, I really want it to. I wish that they could do what AMD did, which was say they're going to release a card at $199 and $230 to $250, and they actually released them. All the cards that dropped were either $199 or $230 or $250, unless it was by a private seller who wanted to eBay the shit out of it and price hike it up to like $500. But from Newegg, they had a whole bunch for $199 and $250. So that was good on them. But if this hits the market and hits the shelves at MSRP at 250 and doesn't come out at 250, people are going to be extremely disappointed. It's sad that it's still probably going to sell out, and that'll either due to NVIDIA fanboyism, or it's also going to sell out because they're probably only going to put 10 in each store.
It's going to be the fanboys. Honestly, it is going to be the fanboys.
Well, also supply.
Though there's no logical. Realistically, there's no logical reason to stick with NVIDIA this generation if AMD is going to keep pumping out shit that's actually worth it.
Yeah.
If their 490 or whatever it is going to come out, or their Titan equivalent, their Fury or whatever.
I don't know if they're going to have any Titan equivalents. They never really have. I mean,
what about the Fury X thing?
No.
No.
Four gigs of RAM is not enough.
Yeah.
They had. Okay, I will say the only time they really competed with NVIDIA on the extreme high-end enthusiast grade was the 295X. That was
that's the dual core.
The two 980Xs on there drew sad amounts of power to where you pretty much needed a separate power supply just for that and 2 outlets to the wall. But that thing was a monster. That thing literally was eating everything on the market at the time. But it was also Titan X price. You know what I mean? It was not cheap. The Pro Duo that they came out with kind of flopped in my overall opinion. I just think it flopped. I mean, it was a 4 gigabyte card, technically 8, but when you split it in Crossfire like that, the memory doesn't scale like that. It's only 4 gigs, which is not enough for that much horsepower in that card. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, actually, sorry to cut you off. I just thought of something on the topic of what everybody's already been talking about, but a lot of people probably don't know this. Actually, I think a few YouTubers talked about it, but I discovered it from NCIX, the store. Like, I was in there talking with them. Asian Invasion in that place.
Lucky you have an NCIX. We don't even have a Micro Center in Vegas. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So they were bluntly not even recommending people to buy the 8 gigabyte card. They were telling everybody to buy the 4 gigabyte and just go into the video BIOS and switch it up to an 8 gigabyte card, because a lot of people don't know that the 4 gigabyte RX 480 is actually an 8 gigabyte.
That was supposed to be a topic, but I didn't send it to you because I forgot. But we can go ahead and talk about it. Let's segue into that. Okay, so
AM does that a lot.
This is not going to be a regular thing. I would not suggest buying a 4 gig model if you want an 8 gig model. Not anymore. If you hadn't bought one yet, you're probably not going to get one. And someone was talking about this on their channel. I forget who, otherwise I would give them credit because I actually agreed with them for this. They said it was probably because AMD, they stacked up on a bunch of 8 gig models and then came to the conclusion that they did not have enough 4 gig models. So what they did was they made a sticker and slapped it over the 8 gig, dropped a BIOS on it to call it a 4 gig. So that's not going to happen in the future. You know what I mean? That was
probably by September it's going to be done.
Yeah. So basically, and the fact that the card's sold out right now, you're probably not even going to be able to do it anyways. So any card you get is probably going to be an actual 4 gig. So do not buy a 4 gig thinking it's an 8 gig card. But yes, that is true. There is a BIOS flashing right now. Keith plays at WCCF Tech. If you guys want to see him, he's at Keith Plays PC on Twitter. He did it with his RX 480. He went and got himself an 8 gig BIOS, flashed it over. Now you can brick your graphics card doing this. Just know that. You know what I mean? It's not meant to be done.
Oh, there's going to be a driver update that'll make your computer blow up, probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think they'll driver update, honestly. If they did, that's stupid. AMD should they already shot themselves in the foot. They should just, you know what I mean, wrap up the wound and walk it off. I don't think they should try and do anything about it. People are happy that they were getting the 8 gig cards. Because think about it, if you bought a 4 gig card for $199 then and turned it into an 8 gig card, you just, oh my God, I love AMD more than usual. You know what I mean? So that's what I would have to suggest being that they should just let it slide. But yeah, apparently, if you guys have 4 gig model cards that were purchased on day one, go ahead and rip the sticker off the box and see if it says 8 gigabytes underneath it, because it might. And if that's the case, follow around and read some articles and some forums on how to flash your BIOS and where you can get a BIOS for it and see if it works. And then let me know in the comments, because I don't have one.
Do you You're really gonna cry over this, eh?
Dude, well, I'm gonna wait for the custom board partners now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know, because I was trying to buy a 4 gig card on day one, and if I would have, I could have made a video on turning it into an 8 gig card. Now I can't because I never got one. Because
why don't you and Mike just buy one and both of you guys review it? And
they're sold out. That's why.
I know, but I mean, you got a 980 Ti. Like, come on.
What?
Again, so that's like saying, okay, well, I've got a Lamborghini, but I really want to buy this tricycle.
Well, no, it's not because I want to use it. It's because I want to review it.
Oh, okay.
I'm a reviewer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call you out on this one. You and Mike Phillip were talking shit on the unboxing videos. Now, if you see my channel, you know that I'm not an unboxer, right? You rarely see unboxing videos on my channel. Absolutely rarely. Okay? But this comes back to being an enthusiast about something. So, it's not that they want to watch someone open a box. It's just when you're going to spend $400 on a piece of technology, you want to see how it comes, how it's packaged, what it comes with, you want to see what the box looks like open, what the product actually looks like, because shopping online, you don't get to see that stuff. You know what I mean? Like when I click on a keyboard, I don't really actually get to see what the keyboard looks like. I get to see a 2D picture of it. When you watch an unboxing video, you get to see them open it, and sometimes it's hard to find review videos, and it's like, perfect example. I want to see if it has little niches on the back of it that'll perfectly fit with my desk, but I can't tell. I watched a review video. He showed no shots whatsoever of that back part of the keyboard that I really wanted to see. I go watch an unboxing video, and sure enough, the guy shows that one angle that I was looking for. You know what I mean? So they are helpful. Though I don't watch them, and I don't upload them on my YouTube channel, I think I probably got like 2 unboxing videos, maybe 1 out of like the 120 videos I have. But yeah, I'm not a fan of doing them or watching them, but I do see the point behind them. That's what I was saying.
I would prefer the way that some reviewers do it, where they have the unboxing, like they've already done their review, let's say, okay, or they'll film their unboxing
during the review,
and it's during the review. Then they'll clip the scene, they'll cut the scene, and it starts the review.
Well, yeah, that's how a lot of them do. A lot of
I've seen so many unboxing videos that are just like 6 minutes of this guy opening up a box. That's like, I don't understand.
Usually smaller YouTube channels, unless it's Unbox Therapy.
Unbox Therapy, yeah, like
they're literally that is what they do.
Millions of viewers, and all I could say is that millions of people, especially
watching other people open a box.
Yeah, that's like do you walk around a shopping mall looking at the girl saying, "Wow, she looks so good in clothing"? Because I myself turn around and I say, "I wonder how she looks naked." Like,
but you might be a sexual predator. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm a human being.
It's called being a guy.
See, I'm honest, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
nothing
honest.
wrong with being honest.
If I'm walking in a mall, okay, and I see a 16-year-old that has very well developed body parts and hormones and whatever, I don't know,
we're live.
Check this. Let's be realistic, okay? If I don't see Papa Smurf around, if I don't see her dad or her uncle or whatever, I'm not going to know.
You won't know.
I'm not going to know she's 16, right? You know, you're going to look at her and you're going to be like, oh yeah, she's 21 or 22, whatever. And once I find out that she's 16, okay, then I'm going to be like, well, I got to turn away now. But up until that point, I'm going to be happy as a pig in shit. Why would I complain? I don't want to see her wearing clothing. Who does? Like, that's... But gamers and people who are involved in social media and all this stuff and social justice warriors and all this new crap that's going on now, everybody's all like, they're just weird.
I don't like know. I said, I see the point of unboxing videos, but at the same time, like I said, I don't indulge in it myself, But I do see the point of wanting to see something opened, especially when it's an expensive item. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to spend $800, like, for instance, I've watched a few unboxings. I can't remember what products there were, because there have been times where I'm like, I want to see exactly how it looks. I want to see exactly how it comes out, what the parts are, how it's assembled. And I do like to watch the unboxings when I'm trying to get a really good, like, for instance, when I was modding my case. There was so huge lack of videos on the case that I have for my computer and my brother's computer case. So I actually uploaded my own review videos of those to, help out. But I was looking at it and I'm like, will this fit on my desk? Am I going to be able to mod it the way I want to? Before I spend $80 on it, I would like to know. You know what I mean? So that's why a plethora of unboxing videos do help, because they offer a bunch of different angles and stuff. But like I said, yeah, I agree with you though. A bunch of people watching a bunch of people open boxes definitely could not be the best thing in the world. But let's go ahead and move on, since we did... Oh, here's the article. I did have the RX 480 8GB pulled up. So we have a couple left here, and then we can go ahead and rant on whatever for the last part of the show, because, that's always fun.
Oh, well, whatever. We'll keep the show going for a little bit longer.
Yeah, let's see. We got Titanfall or Microsoft. Which one do you want to do first?
You choose, actually. I've not played Titanfall, so if you want to do a rant on Titanfall...
Yeah, we'll go ahead and Titanfall. So, Titanfall 2. It's already up for pre-order. Don't pre-order it. God, don't pre-order it. Please don't. So,
Okay.
Just don't pre-order. So apparently the Xbox One version of Titanfall ran at 792p and locked at 60 FPS. At least it was 60 frames.
Now, is it actually 60 frames working?
Yeah, 60
Well,
FPS.
Then you know what?
But it's 792p. I mean, I'm playing at double that resolution, and yes, I can 100% tell when it's not 1440.
But you could tell the difference at a foot and a half away from your monitor. If you are sitting 8 feet away, you're not going to.
I am sitting a foot and a half away from my monitor.
Exactly. But that's
No,
why
but 8 feet
that's
away,
why you're not playing on an Xbox One.
I can tell 8 feet away if it's on a big screen TV.
Okay, if you're on a 70-inch TV, whatever.
Well,
but
40-inch, 50-inch, even a 32-inch, because the pixels are much more stretched, and you can definitely tell.
Here's the thing. Okay, who really cares after 2 minutes of I don't understand this whole...
You can't see my video, but I'm raising my hand before you even finish.
Okay.
Just kidding, I can't.
Yeah, you are an enthusiast. You're the 1%er of a video game industry. But, okay.
Hey, I matter. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because you could afford a 980 Ti, and cry about not having a 480. I can't. I don't have that luxury.
I cry about not having a 480 purely for my YouTube channel. I don't need the card. It's just for my YouTube channel, for all the viewers that want to see what a 580 does. Yes, of course I want one for you guys.
Oh, okay.
I like it's a small YouTube channel. I have a very small community, but everyone's really nice to me. So
and they're active.
I repay them. Yeah, and they're active.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing the reason why I like your channel and why I like Mike's channel is because you actually do the stuff from the heart. You're not doing
production?
It to be
well. Big production, big money, big spending. Oh yeah, by the way, I figured out how to turn off all the ads from my talk show, so I did that because I don't like the ads on it. There might be side ads, but I got rid of all the ads on the overlay ads because
Yeah, our show, unfortunately, every 10 minutes is commercials.
That's why I like the podcast.
We're on an actual network, and
you guys make money. I don't.
Yeah, so here's the thing. There was a study done a few years back where it said that 92% of people, after 1-point-something minutes of gameplay, do not notice resolution. The reason why is because I don't know. Maybe there are. I mean, I'm only a few years older than you, right? But maybe there are people in this generation of gamers that will, grab a hammer and start beating themselves over the head saying, "Oh my God, I'm only playing at 900p."
Oh, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. It's doable and enjoyable the same. But when you've been on a 1440p monitor for a year and a half now, there is no such thing as going back. I'm too familiar with it.
Here's the thing. After a minute or two, will you honestly... Are you going to start moping and crying saying, "Oh my God, the resolution. Oh my God." No, you're going to be playing the game. You're not going to give a shit after a few minutes.
Well, you also have to understand, why is my Xbox not put back together? Because I don't use it because I couldn't do it. I tried playing my Xbox. It didn't work.
Okay, but you're going to be a new classification in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Psychiatry, okay? You are special.
It's not that I'm special. It's just I'm used to it. I mean, that's like saying you drive a Ferrari for like 2 years and then you hop in a Kia Forte and tell you that you're not going to feel the difference after an hour. But you will.
But here's the thing. You will feel the difference, okay? But you're still going to get to the same place that you need to go. Well, with a Kia, maybe not. But you know what I mean. Kia is point A to point B. It's getting back to point A that's the tough part, right? Your car's going to fall apart before it gets back. But... most Korean cars, actually. But the thing is, the car will still function. You will still drive. You'll still whatever.
I didn't say that it wouldn't function. I'm just saying that there is a noticeable difference, and I would notice it.
But have you ever driven someone else's car?
Of course, that's all I do at work.
And after 5 or 6 minutes, you're used to the driving.
Used to it, but it's still not the same.
I'm not saying it's the same. I never said it's the same. But I'm saying you're not going to beat yourself up. You're not going to beat yourself up saying, "Oh my God,"
No, that is not true, because every time I need acceleration, I try to merge into a lane, I'm like, "God damn it, this car's so slow."
Honda Fit or
exactly
those little 1.5.
So don't I see what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, it's playable. You can get not necessarily used to it, but yeah, it's doable. And I'm not saying it's not enjoyable. I'm just saying when a preference is involved. Because there's not going to be a fact here on what's better, 1920 by 1080 or 1440. There's no fact. It's all opinion and preference, really.
No.
What you would rather do.
Is better. 1440 is better.
Well, once again, that's preference. That depends on if you like it. Yeah, it has more pixels, but maybe you don't want that. You know what I mean? That's a preference thing. When it comes to personal preference.
I just mean look, okay, 800p or 792, whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay. The fact of the matter is that's not a huge difference. It's not like you're going back to 480p, okay? As soon as you're in that 720 to 1080p
well, it's still
range,
HD, yeah.
Okay, you're still in the HD range, and after a few minutes of playing, especially if you're playing on an Xbox One, chances are you don't have a gaming PC, okay? If you are preferring your Xbox One. Or it's like me, I like to play my things on a projector. You know, I've got a 170-inch projector.
Yeah.
So I like to play on that. And the fact of the matter is, unless you're directly comparing one to the other, you're not going to notice that it's lower resolution right off the bat. You're not going to care.
When you're a graphics snob, that's all you do. Compare
one
to
another.
Yeah,
but look at Alan Wake on the Xbox 360. That was a gorgeous looking game. Played at like 500.
They have good games, good looking games.
It played at like 512.
I remember when Halo 3 first came out and Halo Reach. They were pretty good looking for an Xbox 360 game.
Well, they were 720p, right? Which was pretty world class at the time.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, I remember my GameCube when I had the component cables and I hooked it up to 480p. It was friggin' gorgeous.
I remember now. It's like I turn on my Nintendo 64 and I'm like, God, I used to think these graphics were good. I'm like playing the original Super Smash Brothers. Fucking like, oh my God, VGA looking so terrible right now. It's
you wanna go nuts? I've got my Dreamcast.
Oh no.
With VGA cables.
2D side scroller in style.
No. I got my Dreamcast with VGA cable. So the Dreamcast natively has 480p. It actually downscales everything for CRT TVs and whatever. The Dreamcast natively was at the time what they called EDTV capable, enhanced definition television. For a while, there were LCD TVs that were called EDTVs. A lot of people don't even know about them. Yeah. They know HD TVs, which was 720p.
Or 1080, yeah.
Well, 1080p came later on, but...
Yeah, well, I'm saying HD was roughly the same. They're both in the HD class.
Did you know most TVs that are listed as 1080p still display the majority of the stuff at 720p?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah, you have to specifically find those certain TVs to make sure that you're getting the right ones.
Really actually have a native... Because what it'll say is it has 1080p, but really that's just capable. It doesn't actually display at 1080p. So I've got a 480p console from 1999 with VGA plugs wired into an HD converter, okay, and then so an HDMI up converter, and it actually upscales the games to 720p. Okay. Why? Because the Windows CE operating system, for some reason, will actually allow it to happen.
That's okay.
Good. I think it outputs. My brother and I were testing it out a while back. It was 1366 times 768. So it's basically 720p. And then I have that hooked into the projector.
Alrighty.
So I can play 720p Soul Calibur 1, Shenmue 1, whatever.
See, I understand there's nostalgia, but I'm not always too into doing that old school stuff. But every now and then it is nice. That's why I have Dolphin on my computer, because every now and then I do like to take a little bit of a flashback. But anyways, back to what we were talking. We went hella off on a tangent. We're on Titanfall 2, if you guys don't remember, because I barely do.
Oh, yeah, don't pre-order it.
Don't pre-order it. I mean, I hope that it's good. I hope that it's everything that they're building it up to be. So this guy, Jeremy O'Brien, says the slot is fine. So you are okay. One of my old Asus motherboards, I accidentally snapped off the PCI retaining clip, basically that you push to hold the graphics card in. Or push to pull the graphics card out. If that breaks, don't worry about it, man. I snapped mine off, and as long as you screw your graphics card in and hope, and make sure that's nice and stable, you're fine. Nice, you got your 480. I didn't get one. Still mad. I probably said that like 20 times this stream. But yeah, good shit. Tell me how it is. Tell me how much you like it. Don't forget to get your newest drivers. Also, pull your cooler off and void your warranty, and check if you have 8 gigs of RAM in there. Because you might be able to flash it. Don't do that. Don't void your warranty if you don't want to. What's up, rear wheel drive? I'm working on your laptop, by the way. It's actually, I don't know if it's finished. Hold on, let me see. It went to sleep. It was Hey, it looks like it did. Okay, I was resetting everything and literally just erasing everything off of it. So, because I spent too much time. Anyways, Titanfall 2. They were saying that Titanfall dipped down to the 30s, even after 5 months worth of patches.
See, that's where
it
I
would
would
dip
say
down
that
to the 30s on the Xbox. That's terrible.
Mhm.
And you would definitely notice a 60 to 30 drop. You know what I mean? That's going to look like some skipping, especially during the pretty intense parts. So overall, they're saying they're going to be working, obviously, on the performance of it, which everybody says. And I'm hoping it's good. I'm not going to pre-order it, and I'm extremely excited. There's a little trailer here. I'm going to flash through the trailer and see if anything I like. The graphics hopefully will be amazing. Once again, this is why I need 980 Ti and or 1080, because I want to run these games maxed out at 1440 and possible 4K.
You're good with a 980 Ti. Don't worry.
Oh no, I will update it,
And
upgrade eventually.
no
Just
no no
not to
you
a
know
1080.
you know what you know what pretty soon the 980 Ti's are really going to drop in price for a small amount of time, for a small portion of time. As soon as the 1080s are actually in stock, okay, the 980 Ti will drop, because there are going to be a lot of idiots like those people that game at 1440p, but they demand that they need to have the best. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm quite familiar with this group of people.
There's those
Go on.
Well, those people will eventually be able to pick up another 980 Ti.
Well, I'm a single GPU, single monitor person. I don't like multiple monitors. Don't like the hassle and trouble it brings. I like single GPU, single powerful one, because once again, you have an SLI set up, and you've ran into your issues every now and then of having to tinker to get something to work.
I understand that, but I mean, you could
I do enough tinkering as it is, running at 4.8 gigahertz. You know how long it took me to get that stable under good temps? Because
I don't know, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's because I kept pushing it until I finally got to my max, regardless of how hot it got, because I YOLO. But yeah, Titanfall 2, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. Last segment we have is Microsoft's rolling out an intrusive full-screen Windows 10 upgrade for the final push. So Windows 10 upgrades are expiring, if you guys don't know this. So upgrade all your computers now, quick. Still haven't gotten a 480. I was able to get 2 of them. What?
Or buy one of these little mini PCs from Chinastan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legitimate place in the Asia market. I don't know.
And
Do you
a lot
get that
of
like GearBest or something?
I think I got
like
it.
GearBest.
Well, I'm subscribed to everybody. I used to distribute a lot of Chinese products. Actually, I used to import them in and sell them.
That doesn't sound illegal.
Whatever.
It's a gray area.
Everything's a gray area with me. Although,
it happens.
no, actually, I'm generally black and white. If you listen to my other radio show, let's plug my show that I co-host. It's called Americanuck Radio. I co-host it.
Sponsored here. Advertisements here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got 9 years of medical school in me. What else? I'm an all-around nerd.
Professor.
Hashtag the professor, and yeah, well, that's enough.
So yeah, anyways, Microsoft is now they're ending their dirty little tricks with the upgrade Windows. After I guess getting sued and overall the uproar of the community being pissed, they finally implemented a little button that you can click that says "Do not notify me again." But here's the funny thing: it says "Sorry to interrupt, but this is important," and this is a full screen takeover, like it takes over your whole screen. Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. Windows 10 free upgrade offer ends July 29th. A little bit of text underneath it, probably some form of disclosure agreement. On the bottom right, you will see an upgrade now and a remind me later button, which are not the buttons you want to click if you wish to stay on Windows, whatever you're not on Windows 10, you know what I mean? So there are 2 other buttons on the side that are the same color as the background, so you don't see them as well. And it says notify me 3 more times. Or do not notify me again. So I'm kind of laughing at that notify me 3 more times. What do you think about that?
Because they already know.
Ask me 3 more times because I think it's because someone might fuck up one of the 2 or 3 times and accidentally.
That's what they want, right?
Yeah.
They want you to accidentally click it. Now
and that's why they put it so close to the don't notify me one. They put it so close to it so you could accidentally click the notify me 3 more times. They also put it above it. So basically, they're grasping for straws. They're even trying to get the accidental upgrades now, not the forced ones. So, yeah, this is pretty funny, just because it says notify me 3 more times, because the 3rd time I might change my mind. It's pretty funny.
I think it has to do with Microsoft trying to get rid of potentially, I'm not sure, potentially getting rid of their line of Xbox consoles and just really trying to focus Windows 10 as their gaming thing. That's maybe why they're trying to do it. Also, Windows 10 has a lot more control from Microsoft's end. They can control your computer a lot more. A lot of people don't know that Windows 10 actually forcibly donates a portion of your bandwidth. I don't know if you know about that option. There's
No.
in your settings.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that says, hey, let other people download upgrades from you? No, I turn that shit off so quick.
and
Is that what
and
you're
there's
talking
also
about?
well
That's the one
they
you're talking about, right?
I'm gonna try and find the option later on, and like
Yeah,
maybe
let me
I'll
know.
send
But
you a
I
link
do
or
know
whatever.
that there is something that says let other people download information, updates, driver stuff, and other information that your computer has that they could basically letting the computer share and net together to
Peer-to-peer.
work together. Yeah. So
Peer-to-peer
which
network.
is don't get me wrong, that's awesome as far as it goes for Microsoft servers. But don't be stealing my data. You know what I mean? Pushing up my upload and download speed because I want to share with other computers. Nope, do it how the normal way does. Microsoft built really good servers to host all this stuff anyways, so just use theirs. So I turned that off because I don't want to share. It's not that I don't want to share, it's just I don't want to have my internet spiking simply because someone wants to download
Somebody's
their Windows 10 update.
jacking their stuff off of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
like, and the reason why I mentioned that you could probably buy one of these Chinese little computers, this quad core, Windows 10 whatever PC.
And is that a 64-bit operating system?
64-bit operating
So
system.
you can install anything on that.
And the good thing about it is it's an actual certified version of Windows, so
Uh-huh.
you could take the product code and put it onto your regular PC. So with this guy here that I got for like 60 something bucks, quad core Windows 10 whatever, with an actual, registered version of Windows 10, I took the product key and I threw it on a bunch of my other computers.
Wow, that sounds totally cheap.
So when their free licensing thing happens, when their free licensing ends, you just pay $60 or whatever. You got yourself a brand new computer that you could use to make a MAME arcade or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just go ahead and use the product code on your actual desktop or whatever. I mean, on this thing, I could play pretty much like it's using a built-in Intel HD graphics processor.
Okay, so you could probably play like Gary's mod at like 720p or something.
I could play quite a few. Like I put,
Gary's mod runs on the Source engine, so it's a Valve game.
Yeah, I put Left 4 Dead 1 on and 2 on this, and it worked 720p at like 55 frames a second.
Yeah.
So
it's doable.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially for this price, I mean, it's all in one.
$69.
When we were talking about garage sales and how you could find a Core 2 Duo, and you said take a Core 2 Quad, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are afraid to put together their computer. So here's what I was going to recommend. I recommend that people go to garage sales and buy a computer with a motherboard that is capable of some kind of an upgrade that you want. So what you do is you buy that $80 or $40 or whatever.
And throw a graphics card in it.
And you throw a graphics
Just
card
be
in
mindful
it. Swap
of that power supply.
Swap out the CPU, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
The PSU is the issue.
Yeah, that's why I always go for a 750 or 750 Ti 2 gig model because they don't require external power. And
man, you got some kick-ass performance out of that guy.
Oh my, dude, wait till I have the benchmarks listed. I actually leaked a little bit on Twitter. Basically, it was a picture of the text document showing the benchmarks because I like to leak things. And if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, I already said it. Do it because I leak things because I don't have an NDA. I'll go ahead and read you a little bit of here. So let's just look Shadows of Mordor at medium. I'm not going to tell you the mins and max, but the average was 59.
Wait,
medium.
what resolution?
1080p.
Okay, for me personally, I want you to go back and do everything at 720p or 900p.
No.
I want to see them with. I want to see them with max settings, and like I don't care if you have to drop the resolution a bit.
I don't want it, but that's the thing. You want to play 1080p though. That's like the main accepted standard.
I'm saying do that for me. If you'd like, I can show you. I'll show you my breasts on video if you want. Would that make you happy?
Maybe that might. But BioShock Infinite at 1080p high settings, we're looking at average of 76.
Oh wow.
At Black Ops medium settings, no AA, 1080p again, 57 for an average. Battlefield 4 medium settings, no AA, average of 88, 1080p. That's ridiculous, right? Even Crysis 3 was hitting 60 FPS. Like it's
wow.
Yeah, that computer granted, I overclocked the living hell out of that CPU, like a full gigahertz over, and then ran the test. But that thing is just smashing. And like I said, the full review, I'll probably actually get started on it after the live stream if I don't end up streaming Overwatch, which I might do because I do like Overwatch. I'm basically going to probably label the video my journey to level 25 so I can fucking play competitive and get rid of all these scrubs. I hate playing that game when you have teammates that have no idea what they're doing. It's just so frustrating. So anyways, yep, Windows 10. I'm already on Windows 10, so all this nonsense that people have been crying about,
Yeah.
I haven't had to worry about. I don't mind Windows 10, man. You turn off all the intrusive stuff, and it's a really solid operating system. Granted, there are bugs here and there, and the lack of support for older hardware for as far as drivers go. Like, for instance, that motherboard, that Asus, the one with the Q66 in it, it's so old that they stopped making. There's no drivers for it in Windows 8, 8.1, or 10. The last time that thing you had to manually install drivers for was Windows 7. So that's how old that thing is.
A lot of Windows 7 drivers are cross compatible with Windows 10 though.
Yes and no. Well, no, Windows has their own package of drivers for pretty much everything. So I mean, there's even Windows 10 NVIDIA drivers to where you don't even have to install a driver for your graphics card to more or less get it work on Windows 10.
Click on the actual website and it'll do it automatically. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying that Windows 10 comes pre-installed with drivers to work with video cards. So granted, it's not going to be the gaming driver that you're going to need for gaming or want for gaming to get most of your performance, but it is optimized enough to recognize the card for what it is, as well as allow you to change the resolution and stuff like that. So it does, and also put display out. You know what I mean? It's also got drivers for a lot of those PCI, what are they? PCIe Wi-Fi cards.
Yeah.
If you put one of those in Windows 7, you have to manually install the driver. On Windows 10, it automatically installs the driver for you, and the card works instantly. Granted,
I think the USB ones are better personally because
I hate them. They're not fast enough.
They're not fast enough. They don't have, but you know what? A lot of people don't even have more than a 100 megabit per second connection.
Yeah, true.
And
true, very true.
You know, I think if somebody's just starting out new and they still have, you know, if they're buying a piece of shit computer, you know, the Core 2 Duo from the garage sale, let's just go back to that, or a Pentium D. Just throw in a USB 2.0 little dongle, $5.
The reason I don't approve of those is because for around $5 to $11 you can get the PCIe ones, which generally work 10 times better. They just hold a better connection. They transfer data. It's overall faster because it's through the PCI bus and not through the USB. There's no cables to run through. It goes directly to your motherboard, which is why I insist on using those. But overall,
I do nothing Wi-Fi at home.
Yeah, exactly. So. Me neither. So I don't understand the Wi-Fi talk with some of these people, man.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we're going strong here. How long have we been going? Oh my God, an hour and a half. So overall, we had some decent topics and we had some awesome ranting. And poor Mike, adopted Mike. Are you still at work? Or are you still watching? I don't know if he's still here or not. He hopped in to say hi because he's at work. He's like, work sucks.
I've got no chat screen, right? I can't see what's going on in the chat.
Why? I sent you the link.
You
just open up the YouTube gaming link and it'll pop up with your chat on the side.
I thought that was for.
Well, that was also so you can see my face because otherwise you're just talking to a random voice.
I've been talking to a wall.
This is your conscience.
I have been talking to a wall and I don't see the link, bro.
Really? It's in Skype. I sent it to you twice.
Yeah, but it's all jumbled up on this little thingy.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, we're reaching the end of the show anyways, but I appreciate you coming and bullshitting and chit-chatting. We'll probably have to have you come on another time, hopefully with Mike, but then I'll have to figure out how to do 3 faces on one screen because I haven't done that before.
So, wait. So basically what you're saying in front of all of your viewers is that you would like to have a 3-way with
2 mics.
Me and another mic.
Yes.
On live camera.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's more of a verbal 3-way than physical, but I mean, it's because
we're so orally basically.
Yeah, we're having an oral 3-way.
Oral 3-way.
Oral
3-way.
And this just went rated R, so that happened. I had the problem today. NVIDIA driver kept installing itself even after I go to your control panel under your programs and literally uninstall everything that says NVIDIA. That's what you need to do. Don't just uninstall one NVIDIA GeForce Experience suite. You have to go through and individually uninstall all of that. And if you're still having that problem, I would suggest a full wipe because you are installing a new GPU and
Safe
it's just
mode.
Safe. Huh?
Safe mode. Well, wipe out the drivers and reboot in safe mode, and then start playing around. Because what happens is safe mode's not going to load most of the drivers too, right?
Yeah.
After you wipe it out.
Well, the problem is you're gonna want it not in safe mode with your drivers, though. You know what I mean? You want to. So I would say keep it out of safe mode just so that way you can keep using it. Or
unplug your internet after you.
Unplug your internet.
Yeah.
Fuck you and video, stay out of my computer. Yeah, you don't need to play on internet. Screw that. But yeah, I would suggest going through your control panel and manually, because there's like 6 NVIDIA drivers. I mean, they have their HD audio package, they have their PhysX package, and they have their actual driver package and the GeForce experience. Go through and uninstall each and every single one of those. I think like 3 of them you have to uninstall and restart your computer immediately after, which is hilarious because I've had to do it so many times that I know that. He says he's still here, sort of. Yeah, it sucks you couldn't join us. I was like, and I didn't want you to think that I brought you on solely to replace Mike, by the way.
And even if you
I was actually asking you to come before he even quit, and I was setting up the live stream video to have 3 different people talking, and then Mike's like, hey, I'm not going to make it, because he always waits till last second to tell me things like this. So I had to change it all back to just 2 people, but I did make you a lower third, which I will keep. That way you have a lower third every time you come on our show, and it just says Mike the Professor.
I am going to be a bottom in this oral 3-way.
A bottom or top? Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what you're planning. I don't know.
This is going to be one of those weird type of Oreos.
Really
Who's going to be? Mike's the palest. He could be the cream filling. We're like one of those vanilla Oreos. You know how they have the slightly darker cookies?
Slight yellow. I'm Greek, right? So I've got the slight little Arab colored look to me.
More tan. Mike's all-American white guy, lives out in the middle of nowhere, and they drink water out of a well. I mean, it's probably not as bad as I'm making it seem. He did tell me they have a well.
His water would not be fluoridated naturally and all that crap. So good. I mean, water fluoridation is super toxic. Did you see my segment on toothpaste?
If you guys are talking about your show, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on real quick, and I'm just gonna block it out, my tinfoil baseball cap, and so the government can't get into my mind, but we can go ahead and talk about this. So when I watched your guys' show, I was on the one where you guys brought in that doctor, the natural health doctor, who you said they're like back of the bus doctors when they're really not. They have all the studies that a normal doctor would have. They know all these things just as much. They just have different practices and approaches as far as treatment goes and or cure. Which you guys were saying that they like to tell you there is no cure, but there is a cure, in fact. So I do listen to that, and it makes me feel like a piece of shit because I've already had like 3 cans of Pepsi and a Monster already. I ate a whole thing of meatloaf full of processed meat earlier too, and some mashed potatoes and gravy. So I don't eat as healthy as you guys. It made me feel like a piece of junk because Mike Phillips over there on the radio show talking about how like these kids, they don't go to the doctor, they go to the pantry and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I don't go to the doctor, but I don't have a pantry full of miracle natural cures either. So if you want to go ahead and enlighten some of the audience a little bit about this.
So what a lot of people don't know is that in pretty much any Western society, but predominantly in Canada and the United States, a lot of people don't know it is actually illegal. Legally, you are not allowed to cure any disease.
Ouch.
The laws very strictly state, because of lobbying, if you have cancer, you must die from that cancer, essentially. Okay?
Oh, no. Does it really say that?
What it says is you are not legally allowed to cure anything, and the pharmaceutical industry is not made to cure anything. What they do is they have pharmaceuticals. The word pharmaceutical comes from the old word pharmakia. Pharmakia means poison. Okay? What they do is they will use poisons in order to overthrow your body's metabolic processes and cause a reaction where your body is trying to recover from something, and it shuts down either a nervous function, it'll shut down a hormone, it'll shut down something, but it does not fix the problem.
Yeah, it's just a suppressant, basically.
A suppressant that has side effects.
Of course, always. You've seen those commercials where the side effects may include heart palpitations. And I love it at the end when they're like, or and fatality, death. Or death. Yeah. It's just like, oh, wow, really? All I had was the runs. Like, Jesus, I had diarrhea, and you're going to tell me I'm going to die if I take this?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? And we'll never tell you the cause of the problem. And in most, what's funny about most commercials, actually, I don't know if you know this, but in Canada, pharmaceutical ads are illegal. A lot of people don't know that. They're actually illegal here.
No, did not.
In the United States, they've been allowed since 1997, and what they do is they don't focus on the drug. They don't focus on the illness. What they do is they say, oh, is your cholesterol high? You have to have Crestor or Lipitor or whatever. They don't actually explain to you what cholesterol is. If I were to tell you that any medical doctor that says you have high cholesterol, any medical doctor that says that should go to jail for attempted murder.
But they're not going to because they're a doctor.
They're not going to, but they should be. Mm-hmm. And what they're not going to tell you is that erectile dysfunction is a cholesterol deficiency. Alzheimer's...
See, that lack of blood to your penis.
Well, Alzheimer's is a cholesterol deficiency. Mm-hmm. Proper hormone function is dependent on...
I thought you got Alzheimer's from smoking too much drugs out of aluminum foil.
It's what they try to tell you, right? What they try to tell you. No, it's all just a cholesterol deficiency. The way that your brain works is there's a layer, a protective layer in your brain called myelin. And myelin, the only way you can actually diagnose somebody with Alzheimer's is if they are dead, you cut their head open, and you check the white matter and the gray matter and stuff in their brain, and you check the myelin levels. Everybody that you know that has Alzheimer's might have something called sundowner syndrome. They might just have some kind of a neurological issue that's interrupting stuff. You cannot actually diagnose somebody with Alzheimer's until they're dead. Mm-hmm. But so this protective layer is called myelin, and myelin is created out of cholesterol.
Mm-hmm. Your so brain, when you lose a lack of cholesterol, you don't have that layer.
Exactly. That's like going into war. Instead of having a super armored tank and whatever, well, over time the tank is rusting and whatever, and you're stuck inside the tank, and you've got no bulletproof vest or anything, so all you have is a paper thin shield.
Yeah.
Anything that goes through, like anything that shoots at you, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You cannot die from Alzheimer's, but you can die from the treatment of Alzheimer's. You do not die of cancer, you die of the cancer treatment. You do not die from almost anything. You only die from what they call iatrogenic death. Okay? If you are not shot in the head, if you're dying from a heart attack, well, that's your doctor's fault, because your doctor does not have any knowledge of diet. He does not have any knowledge of nutrition. They have no want to learn nutrition because the rules state that they are not allowed to cure illness. Okay? In the country of Canada and the United States, you cannot cure illness legally. Okay, because that hurts the business of the pharmaceutical industry. And what does pharmaceutical mean? Poison. Okay, so what happens is every year you hear cancer is on the rise, Alzheimer's on the rise, erectile dysfunction is on the rise, autism is on the rise, all these things. You don't hear them saying that before the late 1970s there was no autism.
Yeah.
You don't hear them talking about that. You don't hear them talking.
Weren't you guys bringing that up as part of what was it? Flu shots and shit and
vaccinations.
Vaccinations. You were saying the child vaccinations could be causing autism. Are you a believer in that?
Oh, well, the evidence is out there. Actually, the World Health Organization had whistleblowers. Us in the naturopathic community. I was originally part of the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, I was a military field paramedic, and I actually saw somebody have a seizure when I gave him a vaccine. And that made me start questioning things. I was like, what? This guy's doing, breakdancing right now on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, what
from
the heck?
From something that's supposed to technically cure him.
Right?
Protect him from a disease.
And then when you start looking into it, you find out that the reality of vaccines is that they have never worked. Even the polio vaccine didn't actually work. Polio was already on a decline. Okay, when the polio vaccine was introduced, because of proper running water, proper sewage, people were no longer pissing upstream and drinking downstream.
That's my favorite, though. I love golden showers. Go ahead, sorry.
If you're into that stuff, it's sterile.
If you can help, this guy says they just checked his mother's cholesterol, and they say that it's hit high, and the sonogram is clear. What would you say about that?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, it depends on whose perspective you want to see things through. Okay,
Well, for someone with high cholesterol, what would you suggest as diet changes?
Then that turns around. You have to ask yourself, what is high cholesterol? Is there really such thing? Because who invented the numbers of what's high and low? Well, do you know who invented that?
Cheerios.
The people who invented what they call statin drugs, Crestor, Lipitor, all these things. Do you know who invented those?
No.
Well, they were invented.
Companies?
The pharmaceutical companies invented them by mistake in the 1970s. They accidentally created these pharmaceuticals that supposedly lower cholesterol. And then they had to start marketing that cholesterol is bad for you. The first actual push was with Crisco in World War I. Crisco was invented as a tank tread lubricant.
Crisco?
That's Crisco.
I feel like they make food.
So Crisco was
eventually
Crisco was eventually marketed by Johnson & Johnson. When somebody tasted it in the factory, they were like, "Hey, this tastes like vegetable oil." So eventually, it got marketed as a low cholesterol alternative to whatever, but they didn't really have this big push for cholesterol. So they marketed a tank tread lubricant as a food.
Well, that's awesome.
Then they turned around and they invented these statin drugs. And then they had to convince everybody that cholesterol is bad for you. When did Alzheimer's first come about? Alzheimer's is a medically created disease in the 1970s.
Okay.
Lo and behold, right after they invented those cholesterol-lowering drugs, all of a sudden, Alzheimer's shows up. Erectile dysfunction didn't happen. You see those black people that live in New Orleans eating all this fatty crap.
Well, I was also going to say erectile dysfunction. If you think about it, in a lot of like ancient civilizations, they were like freaking like 80 years old, 70 years old, banging out little girls because that was okay back then, and they were having tons of children. I mean, look at Game of Thrones. They don't have any of that stuff. Game of Thrones.
They don't have any of that stuff. I mean, CGI penises and everything, but
yeah.
CGI
enhanced penis. You heard it here first. CGI enhanced. It's basically what they did with 300.
Hey!
And the Spartans' abs.
We just got a little message from the co-host of, the primary host of Americanuck Radio, Mike Phillip. Just so everybody knows, Mike Phillip has no formal training in medicine, but I can guarantee you.
Well, he seems to know more about than I do because I heard you guys talking on the show.
Mike Phillip has cured. I shouldn't say the word cure. Okay. Well, because that's illegal. Let's not even say treated. I will say, Mike Phillip.
Given recommendations, good recommendations.
Mike Phillip had learned the basics of nutrition, and that has actually fixed up problems in hundreds of people that medical doctors can't even cure heartburn.
Yeah, well, I remember you guys talking about it on your show. He was talking a lot about how, like, he used to have all these problems with the allergies and asthma and stuff like that. And just changing his diet, eating healthy, and as well as just supplements. You know what I mean? Like taking vitamins and making sure that you know what you're taking and what you need to take to counteract certain things. Like you were saying with heartburn. What were you saying? You need calcium deficiency and salt.
You need calcium and salt.
Yep. So if you're having heartburn, what you were saying was calcium deficiency, and also you need some salt. So get some salt on your food, and if you're not like me, I'm lactose intolerant. Get a lot of milk.
Yep. And so Mike just texted me.
Calcium pills.
Mike just texted me saying that the liver produces cholesterol, and yes, it does. And a lot of people don't know that vitamin D is actually a form of cholesterol. Okay, all kinds of naturally occurring products are. Cholesterol is a necessity for us. We need cholesterol. So Jeremy O'Brien, you're going to the wrong kind of doctor, okay? A medical doctor does not learn health. They have no knowledge of health. They know how to patch up a wound if you break your arm or get shot. Their job is emergency medicine only. Your mom she's going there for a chronic illness or an illness that has nothing to do with them, okay? A lifestyle problem has nothing to do with medical doctors. This is why they always say cancer is on the rise, autism is on the rise, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll turn around and they'll say, we still have no cure for cancer. We still have no cure for high cholesterol. We have no cure for autism. We have no cure for asthma. We have no cure. So everybody, Steve, you do mechanics and stuff, right? Okay. Would you take your car to a mechanic and you go to the mechanic and you say, hey, I'm having this noise. The mechanic says, unfortunately, we have no way to fix that. Would you turn around and say, okay, well, you know what? I trust you. I'm going to give you my car anyways. Here's my money.
I don't take my stuff to a mechanic.
No, but I'm just saying. For example, if you had a problem and the mechanic says, we have absolutely no way to fix that, would you still give him your car and give him your money?
Nope, obviously not.
Okay, medical doctors say we have no cure for cancer. Why do people go there when they have cancer? Medical doctors say we have no cure for asthma. Why do people go there when they have asthma? Medical doctors say they have no cure for macular degeneration.
It's more propaganda and advertisement. That's why they go.
Exactly. It's marketing. But the doctor even tells you all over TV, we cannot fix your problem.
Yeah.
Yet you go to somebody that says, I cannot fix your problem. I'm going to take your money, but I can't do shit for you.
Exactly. Here, enter into some like cancer treatment facility.
Yeah.
And that's not a cure, that's a treatment.
It's a treatment. Sure. Okay. Here, lupus, diabetes, heartburn, Mike's texting me. All these things. Diabetes has been known since the 1950s by a doctor named Dr. Mertz. He knew that type 2 diabetes is simply a deficiency in a mineral called chromium. You know chrome? Like chrome wheels? Okay.
Yes.
Chromium is a mineral. Okay. If you are deficient in chromium and a cofactor called vanadium, another mineral, if you are deficient in those two minerals, your body's glucose metabolism and glucose regulation will be out of whack. That's what causes diabetes. Diabetes is just a mineral deficiency. But if I told you that you have a chromium and vanadium deficiency, then what you're going to do is you're going to go out and buy chromium and vanadium. You're not going to take my drug that I'm going to give you. Exactly. You're not going to buy my insulin.
Pay $300 a month for your insurance to cover 75% of that cost.
Exactly. You're not going to take the insulin, the metformin, and all this other rat poison and pig testicles and all. You're not going to take that stuff. You're just going to go. You're going to say, hey, who's got a good company that has vitamins? Oh, my God, Longevity has very, very good vitamins. You know, Dr. Glidden, the guy that was doing the interview that we had for the interview, he's a big advocate for a company called Longevity. And I myself, I'm actually affiliated with another vitamin company, but I like Longevity products too. I love their products. I whenever I can afford them, they're the best products on earth. And it's just,
those are just natural vitamins, just solid what you need in there. It's
what we need in our human bodies. You know, they say ashes to ashes, dust to dust in the Bible and things like that. Or, the Quran says that we're made from clay. Those are all mistranslations of the word minerals. We're minerals. Okay? That's why we need calcium for our bones. What's calcium? Well, calcium is chalk. Like chalk that you write on a chalkboard with.
Yeah.
That's calcium. Okay,
so just eat a piece of sidewalk chalk if your bones are weak. You learned that today. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what? Calcium supplements. Okay, if you read and it says calcium carbonate or Tums and what's the other one there? Tums, right?
Yes.
Okay, Tums is chalk.
Yes.
Is actual chalk.
It's calcium.
It's calcium carbonate.
And that's why Tums counteracts heartburn so quick. But they don't tell you it's because you don't have enough calcium. So when you have extreme heartburn because you're calcium deficient, you eat a piece of Tums, which is calcium. That's why it gets rid of it within a heartbeat, because you needed that calcium.
Yeah, and to Jeremy, if you have any health questions, or to everybody actually, if you have any health questions regarding,
you need a Twitter. See, this is why you need a Twitter.
Yeah, well,
so they can tweet at you at Mike the Professor. Help me. My mom has high cholesterol.
I'd rather not tweet this stuff because of the fact that the laws state that we are not allowed to cure illness in Canada.
Well, you're not curing any illnesses. All you're doing is giving diet advice. Technically, if you're ingesting pills and telling them to change their diet and what they should supplement, you're giving them supplementary diet advice. Really.
And the government wants to ban supplements.
Well, that's why you have to have your tinfoil hat on.
You got to have your tinfoil hat on.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
If anybody has any questions, you can just email us at americanuckradio@gmail.com.
Americanuck, I'm typing it for you. You just have to tell me if I spelled that right at gmail.com.
So American, the word American, and Canuck. So Americanuck.
Did I spell that right?
No.
Okay.
Give me a second here. Let me
I
see
don't know
if
how to
this will...
spell Canuck.
Live chat messages are public, so everyone can see. Let me see if this will work.
C American, and then how do you spell the last part? I had it pull. I don't know. I just pull up your damn website. But anyways,
1 second here at
this is
Gmail.
why you need it. Having a Twitter is not a bad thing. It's not that bad. Hey, I did spell it right, at least compared to what you guys have it at gmail.com.
Did that work?
Yeah, that works. You can post it. Yeah, at least I
Okay.
see it. I don't know if anyone else can see it.
Americanuckradio at gmail.com.
I'm pretty sure I spelled that right. Either way, that's where you guys can email them at if you guys have any questions about your family members that need help, doctor advice. I don't know how Mike Phillips is going to feel getting blown up, but
And we'll give you honest advice.
Also tune into
Okay.
the radio show, especially when they had those medical advices. I mean, they were talking some pretty heavy stuff on their last show about like how to help out with, for instance, like what we did here with heartburn, diabetes, high blood pressure, standard things that Americans come across and North Americans in general come across. So yeah, definitely. We're gonna not call them cures. We're not gonna call them treatments. We'll just call them dietary suggestions. How about
Dietary suggestions. That sounds good.
that? Yes, basically ways to live healthier. What was that girl you had with the Earth diet? She sounded cute.
She's a model, actually. She's Miss Australia of 2010 or
Oh
something.
wow. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that
She's
explains why she
actually
sounded cute.
she's a hottie. But yeah, Jeremy, if you want to email us, like we'd be happy to talk to you. You know, if you get
You could
Mike
probably even
Phillip.
call their show.
Here's the thing. Mike Phillip, I'm telling you straight up, like this is how pathetic the medical world is, okay? Mike Phillip's like a hard-hitting guy, okay? He worked on oil rigs, he worked refurbishing steel on trucks and all kinds of this heavy-duty stuff, okay? Never went to university for medicine, never went to university for nutrition, and I can guarantee all of you that guy will fix more problems than you can imagine, where your medical doctor will have a laundry list saying, like, I actually went to school for this stuff, okay? And he can actually have an argument with me about stuff that he never went to official school. This is how easy health is.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody could learn how to take care of themselves.
They don't want you to know that though.
They don't want you to know that. This guy can fix the vast majority of your issues with simple biology. Simple suggestions based on biology that the medical doctors are censoring because it's not in their interest to cure your problems. Okay? And if this guy can do it...
Curing your problems is how they don't make money and how the population gets overcrowded.
Well, look at Bill Gates. I don't know if you ever saw his quotes. Bill Gates is involved with a lot of shady stuff, okay? He's promoting vaccines. Vaccines, I don't know if you guys know this, but vaccines contain sterilants. Vaccines contain live viruses. They call them attenuated viruses. They say that they're dumbed down, but you know what? They're not. That's why everybody who gets a flu shot ends up getting the flu.
Yep.
They're spreading polio through the polio vaccines in India. India didn't have a history of polio in the past 50 years.
Now they do.
But now they do, because Bill Gates, a few years ago on TED Talk TV, said he wants to help reduce the world's population by 2 billion, and the way that we can do that is through vaccines and medicine. He wants to reduce the population.
That's probably the shadiest thing someone's ever said before.
On live TV. All you have to do is YouTube Bill Gates depopulation, and you could see his actual formula. He's got, his NASA scientists, his Microsoft scientists, all these people that he's in bed with, coming up with this formula, and the easiest way to help the environment, his quote is to reduce population. Then you start learning about people like Oprah Winfrey. You start learning about people like a lot of these movie stars. You find out about...
I wish I had like some Illuminati pictures to throw up right now.
Well, you know what? There's a documentary that I was actually in called Endgame. It's you could find it on YouTube. It's called Endgame. Now, I wasn't in it like as an interviewer or whatever, but I was at the place that something called the Bilderberg meeting is happening at, and it's a group of, let's say, 120, 150 of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's become extremely public over the last few years. That has come way out to where everyone knows. Yeah, all the most powerful people. It's a men's only club. All the most powerful men in the world, richest men in the world go there and basically perform, what is it, kind of like beta house style stuff, like a fraternity style thing going on there. But yeah, no one really knows what's going on there because they're not allowed to say anything. They're not allowed to put recordings. They just basically have random weirdos that sit outside and record them. And thank God for those weirdos, because now we know that stuff exists. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and what they do is they'll tell you, oh, we're talking about the economy. Yeah, they're talking about world domination, though.
Yeah.
There's something called the Georgia Guidestones. Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Nope.
You still got your tinfoil hat on?
Yeah, of course, always.
Okay, Georgia Guidestones. I believe they were made in the 1960s. Probably Mike Phillips going to correct me if I'm wrong in a few seconds. I believe it was in the 1960s that they were made.
Yes.
And everybody, you got to listen to our show, okay? Like, Steve listens to the show, and I think between Mike, Phillip, myself, and Super Don, I think we have great chemistry.
It is Don, right? Like D-O-N?
Yeah,
okay,
D-O-N.
I spelled that right then. Just making sure.
Super Don.
Yeah, because I put in the description your guys' names so they know where to find you at your website. So. Yeah,
I mean, I think we have great chemistry. I mean, I'm the only one with hate mail predominantly. Because I come off as an asshole.
Because they either hate you or love you.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. Nobody has ever said that my advice was bad. Nobody has ever said anything. All they said is, oh, you sound racist. I said, no, I'm just, I'm showing you the statistics that the FBI puts out. Oh, you sound really, really mean. Why? Because I'm telling you the truth and I'm not sugarcoating anything? You want to keep going to your doctor for the next 50 years? People are like, oh, I've had my doctor for the past 50 years. He's such a great guy. And I say, yeah, and in that 50 years, you've developed Alzheimer's, arthritis.
Didn't Mike Phillips say his wife had like really bad blood pressure problem?
Man, him and Mike and his...
Well, I remember someone saying that their wife or someone had like some form of bad either blood pressure or diabetes to where they were saying it was terrible.
Okay.
And they were going to the doctor for it for years. And then he decided to do the, supplementing things that he needed in his diet, things that he was missing. And then sure enough, all cleared up. Not going to the doctor anymore. They don't have to.
Mike and his wife were falling apart. Okay? They were falling apart big time.
Yes.
They were going to doctors. They've been following their doctor's orders, right?
They were following basically how society portrays it to do. This is what you're supposed to do.
And Mike got to the point that, because he loves his wife so much, he got to the point that he was like, fuck, there's got to be something to do. My wife's aching and pain and blah, 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 and I'm falling apart and stuff. So he eventually was watching the Alex Jones Show, okay, the world's largest alternative media show, which I hope we can eventually beat him, but I don't know. But he's a big Texas guy, and he's got a good show too. So Mike was watching the Alex Jones Show, and he saw a doctor named Dr. Glidden. Okay.
Yeah, and you guys were saying that you were like co-host on his show for a while, weren't you?
Now, Mike was actually telling me that today, but I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So Mike eventually emails Dr. Glidden, and he says, "Hey, what's the deal? Blah blah blah." And Dr. Glidden responds to him and says, "Look, this. Give me a second here. I'm getting." He got it right.
We got Mike Phillip live.
Mike Phillips says blood pressure was corrected in 3 days. You know what?
3 days.
Is there any way?
Days. My mom has high blood pressure right now. She
can
refuses to do anything, but 3
can I
days.
add Mike Phillip to this conversation?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and add him, he can hop in and tell his story. That way you don't have to tell him and he corrects you on the phone.
Let me see here. Let's let Mike chat for a bit. I put call Skype. Is it working? Hopefully he answers.
Oh, he's busy.
Oh, come on. Come on, Mike.
Well, either way, yeah, in 3 days, he texted him, like he said, 3 days, his wife's high blood pressure, I don't know the severity of the blood pressure, but I know that I remember hearing him say that in 3 days it was cleared up.
I'm gonna try him again.
Which is what what was the Earth diet? Is that girl from Australia was talking about? I don't know about going as extreme as that. But definitely supplementing things you were missing. There
he might have.
That way you don't have to tell him.
Hello.
Chill on the phone. Hello, Mike.
Let's let Mike chat for a bit.
How you guys doing, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
Good. Am I live?
Yes, sir. Appreciate
live.
having you on here. It's nice for you to show up. So
Well,
we've been doing Health Talk for a little while now, and I actually don't mind. I mean, it's not necessarily YouTube channel related for me, but I don't mind sharing with my viewers this because this is important stuff. If we all want to live long, have healthy lives, and stuff like that. I've heard your stories of not going to the doctor as much and all of that. So definitely go ahead and share with us now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what Mike was saying is absolutely true. What I had going on was, I had asthma and allergies my whole life. It nearly killed me several times. And my wife had really bad bone and joint problems. She had so much pain that she could hardly walk anymore. I listened to her cry herself to sleep. She had stage 1 hypertension. Her blood pressure was so high that she would get dizzy spells. And long story short, it didn't take very long. In the case of the high blood pressure, in the course of working with Dr. Peter Glidden and taking in the right information and following that information, we lowered her blood pressure to the correct point where it should be in 3 to 4 days without any drugs, without any surgery, simply by supplementing with the right amounts of calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin D. And like Mike said, I was a drummer in rock bands for years. I played in bars. I worked on drilling rigs. We were a bunch of rough boys. But you don't have to have 6 years of university to turn around a chronic illness. And if you're going to an MD, they're going to give you drug after drug. And by the time they're done with you, you're going to be on oxygen, you're going to be on 15 meds, and you're going to have one of them stupid rascal things that you're going to need to get around town. Your ankles are going to be this big. It's going to be, it's bad, and I run into it all the time. I mean, when the Diabetes Foundation comes to my door, I don't give them any money because, the Diabetes Foundation wouldn't make any money if they came to your door and said, we're looking for donations for the Mineral Deficiency Foundation, because like Mike said, you would just go get some minerals and fix the problem at home. And it really is that easy. And people are brainwashed into believing that
it's a permanent disease and you just have to live with it. That's what they're...
Exactly. Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. But the word is getting out, and we're dedicated to helping people get their health back. Americans specifically are breaking down left, right, and center. I mean, you could throw a tennis ball down the street and it's going to land 20 feet from somebody that has one of 3 things guaranteed: diabetes, high blood pressure, or bone and joint problems. And I'm here to tell you, your body is constantly trying to fix itself. It knows how to fix itself. And all you have to do is give it the right building blocks and it'll just do it. And I mean, you grew into an adult from a single-celled organism without any medical doctor helping that process along the way. Your body has an born-in wisdom that it wants to fix itself, but what they want to do is they want to override a naturally occurring system and shut down a specific symptom without addressing the underlying problem.
Yep.
And
that makes
this
money.
is easy. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's no reason you should ever have a stroke. There's no good reason why you should ever come down with some stupid chronic illness because you're a victim of bad information. So, this isn't some conspiracy theory. This isn't pie in the sky. This is reality.
This is biology.
This is and it's very simple biology. Like Mike said, I never went to university, but I know how to do this stuff. And, I'll tell you what, we had Dr. Glidden come up to Edmonton here about 4 or 5 years ago, and there was a lady who was an actual nurse, an RN, that came to hear him speak, and she was diagnosed with lupus. Okay, so you got this word lupus, and what are they talking about? It's this thing where, lupus is literally translated as the word wolf from Latin. Okay, that's how dumb these guys are. We don't know what's happening. You got a bunch of scabs all over you and you can't walk. Hey, let's call it lupus. What the hell, right? So this lady was, she was in a wheelchair. She had it so bad. And Dr.
she was
Glidden,
a nurse.
She was a nurse,
Surrounded by doctors and medical professionals.
Surrounded by doctors and going down to the point where she almost couldn't get around without a wheelchair. We had her up and mobile in 6 months.
Yeah. See, and
That
there you
rock
go.
climb.
And of course,
So-
the media is not going to want to blow up these type of miracle stories.
Nope,
Not at
because
all.
and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. Because when you watch CNN or Fox, uh, their ratings are so low that their bread and butter is side effects include, right? So I mean, that's all they've got really going for them right now is commercials for insurance companies and drug companies. The pharmaceutical industry rakes in billions of dollars every single month, and they need you to die. They need you to drag your ass around sick all the time in order for them to make those profits. So if we can get this information out to enough people, you, your mom, your kids, your nephew, your niece, your cousin, your sister, your brother, you don't have to break down. You don't have to be sick all the time, and you don't need to die early. You don't have to
Exactly.
spend 50 years on drugs. It's
Nope.
that simple.
And that's why I totally was like excited. I'm actually excited to have you here. I didn't think we'd be getting treated this much. And even though my channel's not related to this at all, I still would love for people to get that information out there because your health is important. Your health is more important than your gaming computer by all means. And a lot of us gamers like to sit around drinking Mountain Dew and eating a box of Cheez-Its for 14 hours while we play World of Warcraft. Let's face it, we're not a healthy diet. So anything to help? Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, that's the, and if okay, and listen, I've had people that I've been dealing with who sat in a basement for 6 years playing video games and doing programming and did exactly what you're talking about, and boom, they've got multiple sclerosis. Boom, they've got Parkinson's disease. They have
Carpal
no
tunnel,
way.
all sorts of stuff, yeah.
All kinds of carpal tunnel, man. That's easy.
That's the early
Carpal
stages,
tun-
though.
I addressed it
Carpal
yesterday.
tunnel's easy. I got over that in. See, I had, like I said, I was a drummer, and
so your
I
wrist,
worked
your
with,
hands were played out. Drummers go ham.
exactly.
I actually
well,
play
in-
guitar. I have a few guitars behind me.
well, if I'm
you might be
ever
able
in
to see it on
Vegas,
live
we'll
stream.
jam.
Oh, there we go. You jam
But
out.
yeah, carpal tunnel, man. I had that for years, and I got supplementing, and I wasn't even looking to fix that because I had so much more severe problems. But one day I was at work, and it just occurred to me that my wrist didn't hurt, so I went and I peeled my glove off, and it just melted away like a candle melts the wax. It was gone.
Yep.
And it happened so easily that I didn't even realize it when it happened. It was probably about 3 days after the healing occurred that it happened. But see, doctors want you to believe that healing only occurs in a multi-million-dollar facility surrounded by what amounts to expensive light bright machines. But healing
Expensive light.
healing-
Mike
right?
was over there
He-
cracking up. That's
yeah,
hilarious. That is true.
Literally, it's like watching an old episode of Star Trek, and they're trying to make it look sciency, like there's a bunch of blipping lights and shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, that the most expensive treatment is the one that doesn't work. And not only that, but have you ever seen the show Breaking Bad? What's the whole
yes.
premise of that show? The whole premise of that show is that this teacher had to turn to a life of crime to afford his medical bills. And how many Americans are going through that right now? They think they're going to die, and they're being charged out the ass and being told that they're not going to be cured at the same time. And they treat you like an ATM until you sell the farm and then you die, and you got nothing to leave your kids, and you have nothing. That's your
Exactly.
medical industry right there. Allopathic reductionism, man. If they can't burn it, cut it, drug it, they got nothing.
Exactly. They need their money, and I see where is the point of needing their money, but it sucks when you have everybody around you suffering because of this lack of information that gets basically pushed under the rug. You know what I mean? You don't get a lot of people out there, and I definitely appreciate you bringing that. It's actually really nice to hear you guys, because like I said, I listened to your show. I've listened to every single one up so far, and I love it. And I do definitely suggest people listen to it, whether you're into my YouTube channel or just overall just kind of getting awareness of what's going on around you as far as politics go, as health goes, also just having a good time. You guys are always awesome to listen to. So, yeah, definitely appreciate you breaking it down to these people over here, and hopefully we can spread the word a little bit better about that. And I definitely need to start looking in for better ways for my mom, especially because she has high blood pressure. And the doctors, they're charging her hundreds of dollars just to give her basically what did they give her? They gave her some high blood pressure medicine and some antidepressants, and or not antidepressants, anxiety.
Same
yeah,
shit.
same thing. So
Same
they
shit,
gave her
bro.
those, and
God.
she's still having sleep apnea issues. She's still her blood pressure still shoots up high randomly, even though she's taking the medication.
Yep. I'll tell you what, listen, okay, so you just mentioned a couple things now, sleep apnea and blood pressure. Those are both arms on the same octopus, okay? The reason she can't sleep is the reason she's having blood pressure issues. Listen, Mike was talking about calcium deficiencies, right? Well, there are over 950 chronic pain and disease issues that can be cleared up with proper supplementation, of which about 500 of those are simple calcium and magnesium deficiencies. When you are getting proper amounts of calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, phosphorus, these things, you will sleep like you have never. You don't know what sleep is until your body is running on all cylinders, because your blood pressure is working good. That's why you can't sleep. And so they're both it's the same
they're tied
thing.
together.
But the MD comes along and says, "Oh, okay. Well, you need a drug for your sleep apnea,
and stop eating so much
drug
salt
for your high blood pressure, and you need a drug for your depression because obviously you're depressed because you never sleep." It's bullshit. It's bullshit, and you don't have to live that way.
Nope.
And that's all there is to it.
Exactly. So, you got anything to add, Mike, before we close it down
I was
here?
going to say, there's also Dr. Joel Wallach, okay, who's like the forefather of modern nutrition. Doesn't he have a book in the Smithsonian Museum worth like $75 million or something?
Yeah, it's called Diseases of Exotic Animals. They did autopsies on several thousand animals. They did blood work and autopsies. And what they found was that just about every disease that is known to mankind in animals breaks down to a mineral, vitamin, or amino and fatty acid deficiency. One of those four things. There's 16 vitamins, 60 minerals, 12 amino and 3 fatty acids that your body needs to function normally. When you don't have them, you break down, and it's that simple. And if anybody wants to email us at americanuckradio@gmail.com, or you can call the show, and we'd be happy to have a discussion about this. No problem. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're European. I don't care. If you're one of God's little creatures, we want you to live a good and healthy life, and that's all there is to it.
Because that's what you deserve. By the way, I saw your cat. That is a big-ass cat.
That's George.
George, he's super fluffy looking.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So,
He's a big boy.
I seen you there.
You
Just
guys
showing
take
him
care.
off.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey,
Peace out.
Thank you for showing up,
Mike.
definitely.
And I appreciate that, Mike. That's
That was nice of
awesome.
him. Yeah.
You know what I was thinking when you said that, because you're a fan of our show and you're just getting an extra treat by having Mike and I on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm a fan of your show.
Well, thank you very
So
much
it's like,
for that.
I wanted to be on your show, right? Like, you were doing this as a favor to me.
Well, I thought you were doing it for a favor of me because I had my original host flake out.
Yeah, yeah. We'll bitch at him next week if I've got a chance to be on the show, which most likely I will. I could probably at least do an hour next week. I mean,
we'll definitely have to set up so that way we can have all of us here.
I'm currently suspended, right? Remember the whole GPS thing with the cop beside me?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I got a $490 ticket.
For what?
Remember when you were like, "Oh yeah, people texting and talking on the phone, they should be."
Weren't you the one? You said you were at a stoplight.
Yeah, I was at a red light.
Okay.
Yeah, so pushing on the GPS, I just pushed the GPS button to stop bitching at me, and undercover cop was right beside me. $490 ticket, 3 demerit points, 90-day suspension.
Pushing the button.
Yep.
Oh wow, I use the GPS a lot in the truck at work because I do a lot of driving. Like I just told you, I got back from California last night, 10-hour drive straight. So yeah, no, I use the GPS a lot, but I do refrain from touching as much technology as I can besides the wheel of the car because I am very highly against it. But I see you were at the stoplight. He got you on a technicality, basically. You know what I mean? And that does suck. That is a terrible one.
And yeah, so I mean, the courts were nice enough to throw away most of the stuff. They reduced my ticket down to $100. They took away.
Why don't you just take it? Do you guys have like an attorney you can take it to and run to court for you? Because that's what I do, so I don't get points on my license.
We do have those. We do have like paralegals and stuff that'll do the court thing for you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they want to charge you $350 up front.
Wow.
Now, $350, win or lose. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
So, and what they'll tell you is, oh, well, if we lose the case, then the ticket that you pay won't be any more than the ticket that he gave you. So you're going to pay $350 plus $490.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
If
that's
they
a bit
lose,
extreme,
right?
yeah.
And what happens is automatically, if you lose, you don't get a reduced ticket. Okay? With the paralegal, you will have the full ticket. So in my case, I went and I pled to a justice of the peace.
Yes.
And I gave him a left testicle massage. It's a special
Yeah.
special technique that I learned. And basically, he's like, "Look, you use your car for work, blah 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 blah." He's like, "This is kind of unfair." The suspension actually was an automated thing by the computer. I was actually not supposed to have a suspension, and for some reason, the Ministry of Transportation gave me a friggin' suspension anyways.
Yeah.
So essentially, I mean, I started talking to the guy about the right to travel.
About the hand job?
This was after the hand job.
Okay.
There wasn't any lubricant and stuff, so we both just kind of acted like it never happened. So basically, yeah, he basically said, look, he's like, this is kind of unfair, blah 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 blah, and then I said, well, what about the right to travel and all this stuff? Now, I don't know if you know this, but in Canada and the United States, technically, based on actual law, you do not need a driver's license. You do not need to register your car. You should not have to have a permit. A permit comes from the word permission. In a sovereign nation, you should not need permission to drive your car on the roads that you paid for through gasoline taxes, not income tax. Your income tax does not go to infrastructure, does not go to anything. Research income tax, you'll find out it goes to bigwigs in the banks.
Yeah.
It goes to the Federal Reserve, it goes to Canada Revenue Agency.
I already
it
took
goes
my hat
to
off. Sorry, I took my hat off. It's alright, we don't need it.
So it's okay. Medical doctors lie to you about everything anyway, so you could lie to the people saying that you still have your hat on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, you actually do not need a driver's license to drive by law. Now, what they have is they have little things like acts, and they'll say like there's like in Canada we have something called the Highway Traffic Act. But the actual freedoms and rights of Canadians and Americans, you are actually guarded against having to have permission to drive your car on your roads.
Because they are public paved roads, which is by public taxes, which is made by the people.
Which is supposed to be owned by the people. This is where democracy is such a lie.
Yeah.
Democracy has allowed something called legalese. They call it legalese. It's legal language. And in legal language, public doesn't actually mean public. Public means government.
Yeah, there you go.
And government is no longer people. Okay? Did you know the word person means corporation?
Actually, no, it did not.
This is why you have to have a capital letter on your name, okay? Any person that has a name...
I was told it was because it was a noun, but that was an English class.
Nah, yeah, see, they try to say that stuff. There's this old Latin law, it's capitalist, masturbationist, whatever, I don't know, you know Latin.
Jack-offinist, all right.
Exactly, so it's something to do with the capital letter, and basically what happens is the capital letter, okay, in the front of your name, signifies that you are a corporation, okay, under the old Latin rules. You have something called a birth certificate. Birth certificates in Canada, there was the Birth Certificate Act of 1933. Now, it actually happened a lot earlier, and it's based on something called maritime admiral laws, okay? Maritime admiralty laws. So the laws of the ocean. And the reason why the birth certificate came about is, back in the day, 100 years ago, shipping and receiving of goods, import goods through boats, these items, this package, right? This package comes on a ship, delivered, remember these words, okay? Delivered, this package, delivered through water, and then you need a certificate, a document, right?
Yeah.
Something that has the name and whatever.
Yeah.
You need this document to approve of this item that is delivered through water to enter this country.
Which is what a birth certificate generally is.
So what happened was they changed the words of your mother's fluids. They started to call it her water. Her water broke. In order to register us as packages that are owned by the government or can be taxed and held as collateral.
Yes.
So what happens is they now say, you were delivered in a hospital when your mother's water, so
Which
you
is
were
why it's like,
delivered,
what, $25,000 to have a baby or something like that?
and
$30,000?
and then they convince you that you
I
need
don't
to
have kids, so I don't know.
No, I don't know how much it is there. Us, it's covered through our taxes.
Oh, see,
Okay.
no, we have to have, well, we have medical insurance is what you would do it, and that's usually acquired by having a full-time job is usually how you get medical here.
Yeah,
But if not, you have to pay, well, you still have to pay for it with your job. But your job, if you have a full-time job, they'll usually cover a good amount of it. You know what I mean?
we have social medicine, so
Yeah, that's
everybody,
what Canada, everyone from America is like, they have free medical. And I
And
heard
it's-
you guys
it's not
talking about being terrible. Yeah, it's
It's
kind
not
of ruining your country a little bit.
when you're losing 22% of your paycheck every time you get a check, you lose 22% of it. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you are paying for it just through
Oh
taxes.
God, you're paying through it, or you're paying for it whether you like it or not, and then you have 12-hour waits in the emergency room.
That's terrible.
Okay. I had this. I don't know if you could see this on camera. Can you see that scar?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you see
Okay.
like a wider outline
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
I got stabbed by
a hooligan.
a non-binary, non-Caucasian, because I can't say the word or the color.
Were you stabbed by a minority? Was it a black guy from the ghetto?
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Okay.
Right, I don't know. Dude, I've had my fair share of ghetto white people, black people, and Mexican people try to pull a knife on me. So I don't care. People
So-
of all races. So you were stabbed by a random black dude in the ghetto. That's what you were trying to say.
And I was taken to the hospital.
Uh huh.
6 hours of me holding a gauze, right? I'm just putting the gauze on my arm, waiting in the emergency room. A stab wound.
I will say this: that's not where U.S. is unless you go to those free clinics. But if you have health insurance and you run into an ER and you are in an emergency, they'll be on you within seconds.
Seconds.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They will offer you
Yeah.
hand jobs and everything, right?
Yeah, they'll like, for instance, if you walk in thinking you're having a heart attack, they will have you on vitals in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Whereas me, I'm stabbed. Sorry, I'm stabbed, and I'm putting gauze on my arm.
Yeah.
Okay, waiting with an open wound, blood dripping on the ground, nobody helping me. It got to the point that I demanded a nurse to come over and bring me a suture kit.
Yeah.
Okay, I did my own stitches.
Sad.
They called Ottawa police to come in, and they said that I am being what do you call it? I'm being rowdy or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm being
disturbing the
uncooperative.
peace. What is it called again?
Being a dickhead, basically. I don't
Yeah.
know what to call it.
It's along the lines of disturbing the peace here. Disorderly conduct. I think they
Disorderly
call it.
conduct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And I literally had to order them to bring me a suture kit. I started swearing at the chick. I'm like,
Yeah.
you bring me the fucking suture kit right. We can't do that, sir. You have to wait your turn. I said, bring me the fucking kit. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Okay? And I said, you've already got my health card. You've already got all my information. This is coming out of my taxes anyways. You could bill the Ontario Health Insurance Plan all you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
I said, I'm getting this shit closed up. So I had to do my own stitches in a friggin' hospital.
That's
with,
terrible.
With Ottawa police watching me. And you guys are begging for this Obamacare and social medicine.
No, we're not.
so that-
Actually, it's the complete
like,
opposite.
It's like, well,
Well,
I know
depending where you stand.
who you
But for
talk
the
to,
most
right?
part, everybody hates Obamacare.
Hillary Clinton supporters are begging for all kinds of crap that's just going to destroy the country. Okay, you got people arguing, saying Trump's a racist. Trump's a racist. No, Trump says let's follow the laws of the laws of immigration.
But I also hate to say it, but Trump has no idea how to run a country either. He may run a nice
Well,
corporation.
come on, let's face it. Neither does Hillary.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Bill Clinton didn't do a good job.
We're hitting literally the worst case of pick the shiniest piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's literally
Yeah.
This is literally the worst in I would say in U.S. history of picking the shiniest piece of shit.
And it doesn't matter which shiny piece of shit you choose because it's
A
the bank
piece of shit's
that
a piece
runs
of
the show.
shit. That's why.
Well, yeah, exactly. You could polish a piece of shit, but it's still a turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Basically, it doesn't even matter which president you choose. It's not them that run the show.
Yeah.
Okay, it
It's
goes
not going
back.
to make too much of a difference.
It's not going to change at all. That's why Canada and the U.S. and all these countries have never really changed. And it's always, in the United States, it's always been Republican or Democrat since the beginning of time. And yet you guys have 5 different parties, but they only talk about Republican and Democrat.
Yep.
in
No
Ca-
one else
in
cares
Ca-
about the other ones.
In Canada, we have 5 parties as well. Okay, and we've only ever had the liberals or the conservatives, which are the exact same as the Republicans or the Democrats. Okay?
I don't know about a liberal being the same as a Republican or a Democrat.
Well, no, because you see, here's the thing. Your word liberal, I'm not talking social justice.
Oh, you're not talking about our liberals.
No.
Canadian
the
liberals are different than American liberals. All right.
I mean, the Liberal Party that we have is, in the same sense that the Democrats and the Democrats and the Republicans basically are the exact same. No matter who you elect, your country's going to go to shit. And they all have the same policy. Not one president has ever kept up with his word on anything because they actually don't have any power. Look at Obama. Obama has brought your country into the worst state ever, but it's actually not Obama.
Well,
Obama's
to be fair,
just a mascot.
Actually, in 2007 to 2012, we were pretty rough, man. Like, it was hard to get. You had 30-year-olds fighting 16-year-olds for a job at McDonald's. Like, it was that bad.
But it's not Obama that fixed anything. That's the stock market.
I know, but I'm saying he didn't necessarily make it worse. You know what I mean? If he would have made it worse, we would have gone even further into that hole. You know,
all they are, these prime ministers and presidents is their mascots. They're just a face.
Yeah.
They're just a face.
You need a representative. They're a representative. That's exactly.
He actually has no power whatsoever. Obama couldn't fucking dig himself out of a pile of shit if he wanted to.
We also don't want one person to have all that power either. You know what I mean?
No, but
that's too much power to hand over to one single person.
One person, exactly, because then you would have what do you call it? Totalitarianism or
a dictatorship.
Dictatorship. The Dictator. That was such a good movie. Did you watch The Dictator?
Yes.
That was an awesome movie. I love it. I love Sacha Baron Cohen. I mean, you know what's hilarious is so many people they used to listen to the Dr. Glidden show, and on the Dr. Glidden show there was very strict guidelines. I had to be very professional. You know, it's all helpful.
Oh, here's all about unprofessionalism and dick jokes.
And people used to listen to that show thinking that I'm some like 50-year-old doctor guy that, you know, just sits at his desk and, you know, researches and stuff like that. You know, meanwhile, I'm me. You just
studied hard too.
Exactly. Like I did what I had to get my parents to shut up and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the process of nearly completing 2 doctorates, completing the Mensa tests, I'm banned from the Scientologist clinics because I got 1 point higher than some fucking scientists. So then they're all, you know, Mike, you must have cheated on your test and blah blah blah. It's like, no, you guys had 4 people watching me. You know, I didn't.
Oh, you got banned for accused cheating.
For accused of cheating on their IQ.
Well, it's like it's nowhere near accomplishment comparative. So I can't even stroke myself on this, but that's why I remember I told you I have a second account. So when I play Left 4 Dead, because I'm accused of hacking so much, even though my broadcast and live stream is open, anyone's allowed to join and watch me play. But even with that said, people still think I'm hacking. So that's just people out there.
It's so
haters.
dumb.
It's haters. There we go.
I got a super high IQ score. Okay, 159.
AKA the professor.
And because of that, because it was too high, the Scientologists accused me of cheating. Now, I'm not a Scientologist, okay? I actually went there to be a dick.
To be a dick. There you go.
To be honest, okay, so I love making fun of alternative groups and stuff like that. You know, yeah. I love when there's a shitstorm happening on YouTube, and I'll just join the comments and give them all the statistics and all the reality and make them all hate me because they don't want to see reality.
Well, maybe that's why people hate you on your radio show.
Well, because I'm honest, right?
Yeah, well, there's haters gonna hate. That's how it's always been.
But very slowly, I'm actually becoming more of a feminist, for example. I think, you know what? I should agree with the feminists. Women are better than men. I think all women should become construction workers. I think all women should join the frontline force infantry. I want to start going into places like IKEA and Home Depot, and I want to see women lifting up these big beams of wood and couches. I would love to see women carrying fridges. I'm definitely a feminist.
I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic.
Well, why? You know, women complain that, okay, well, for the first 25 billion years that humans have been around.
Hey, I'm not sexist, but I will say this. Women, my girlfriend admits this, which is why I know it's true. Her mom admits it, her sister admits it. Women, they'll choose it if it's in favor of them. Just women.
Very women actually psychologically.
I don't want to talk about feminist stuff here because I'll get myself in trouble.
Well,
Nothing.
no,
I'm not
no,
sexist,
no.
but
No, I'm promoting feminism. I'm telling them to go become frontline infantry forces.
Yeah, but they say that, and like for instance, this is a perfect example, and we're gonna end it after this.
Go join the military and get shot. Feminists.
I don't want my 5 girl subscribers to unsubscribe me, so we're gonna end it after this. But I got one story to tell you. So my brother is in the military. He was in the army. There was a girl, a female soldier. She was in the military with them, and
friendly fire, right?
No, there's their higher up. Their higher up was yelling at them, and they call it smoking them. You know what I mean? Like do push-ups, run laps, screaming at them, calling them pieces of shit. You know, boot camp style stuff. That's how the army goes. That's the military.
And they'll do it at random.
Yeah. So, anyways, their higher ups, sergeant, I don't remember what it is, started yelling at this girl. You know what I mean? Same thing that he does with the guy. If anything, probably not as bad. You know what I mean? Because he gets really mean on the guys. But he was screaming at her, yelling at her. The girl broke down crying. Went and complained to his higher-ups, and then they pulled him in, and we're going to kick him out of the military for that. And then they told him, you cannot be mean to her. You cannot, you know what I mean? You yada yada. You can't do that to her. And then, and then you have all these women that are fighting for equal treatment, and then something like that happens. Like, really? Like, that's kind of ridiculous. If you're going to want to run with the guys, then you got to deal with the shit that the guys deal with too. It's just as bad for the guys in the military. There was no sexism there. He doesn't dislike females. He wasn't being hard on her because she was a girl. She was being hard on her because she was a soldier. And she complained about it, and he got, like, when I say trouble, I mean, like, holy shit, he almost got kicked out of the military trouble, which is bad. And then they also incorporated that where you can't look at females. You can't look at a female soldier for more than 3 seconds. Otherwise, it's sexual harassment.
It's sexual harassment.
What? You can stare at a dude soldier all you want, though. Like, that's not fair, and that's why I don't even like to state my opinion on that stuff. But that's a ridiculous story, right?
But it's reality,
and
I saw it too. I was a witness to that when I was in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, anybody thinking terrorist, you guys are being lied to left, right, and center. Okay. Tinfoil hats on. The American government started all this crap. Okay,
Propaganda.
They created Al Qaeda. They created the
Taliban. Propaganda.
Yeah, they created it to destabilize Kosovo, Bosnia, and Chechnya back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And all they're doing is just rehashing the exact same thing over and over again. There's no such thing as a terrorist in other countries that are actual terrorists. They're all government. They're all government stage setups, right? Like, if government says, okay, we're going to take these people, we're going to claim it's a military drill, he's going to go blow up a train. Well, it's the government that's doing it. And they always have an objective. That's why every time there's a quote-unquote terrorist attack, you always lose rights. So like the Orlando shooting, we touched on that in the other show. If you guys want to listen to some
Aren't they losing gun rights and stuff like that?
Well, that's the whole point. They want to disarm you guys, just like how we're disarmed in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, good luck with that, dude. There's so many Americans, even the military. There's so many soldiers that my brother has talked to and that I have talked to as well, that said that if they were told to seize citizens, civilians' guns, they wouldn't. They just straight up wouldn't. They said, no, I'm not going to take their guns because they don't, you know what I mean? So, yeah, of course they're going to try and incorporate laws, but if that's the worst case, I know one place will never do it, and that's Texas, probably not Colorado either. I'm moving there if that happens. So, because I sleep with my 40 right next to me. It's on my nightstand.
So Jeremy O'Brien says, so while the JAG's a joke, when it comes to sexual harassment?
I don't know what a JAG is.
Well, JAG, I believe that's the American term for the courts for military. I believe, Jeremy, is that the case? The military court? That's what you guys call it in the United States? The JAG?
I'm not a military personnel, honestly. I just know what my brother leaks over occasionally. But either way, yeah, I thought that was kind of fucked up how they incorporated all that.
I witnessed it when I was with the United Nations, okay? I witnessed it personally, the same thing that your brother had. I witnessed women only had to do about 30% of what we had to do.
Well, it's like you fight for equal treatment, but then you go to the same route and say, "Hey, you can't treat me like that because I'm a woman." It's just kind of it's a double-edged blade. But if you're a guy and you're in a relationship with a girl, you know that that's how it works, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? That's fine with me. That does not bother me. And of course, you're gonna have those hardcore women that are willing to do 100% of the men's work as well. And you know what? Hats off to them too. Good job. But I can tell you right now,
I've never met one.
Well, my girlfriend, I've met a few of them, but my girlfriend's not one of them. I can tell you that right now. So I already know that.
You know what's the good thing about this feminist topic? 97% of women are not feminists. Military lawyer, okay, JAGs. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, basically, you know what? Any court of law, this is to Jeremy, any court of law will always favor A, the industry, B, whoever has more money, which doesn't necessarily mean industry, but whoever is more powerful, quote unquote, okay? And that means that it'll favor a political point, and C, these days, it's whatever's trending. Okay, what I mean by that is right now feminism is a big trending thing.
Or the gay community.
The gay community,
sexual, bisexual, yeah, transvestites, yep.
Now check this out. The origins of feminism has nothing to do with suffrage, has nothing to do with any of that stuff
It has
that they
nothing to do really with women, isn't it? Just the equal treatment of both sexes.
Nope. It's not the equal treatment at all, because if you can find me something that women and men are not equal.
I'm saying the definition of feminism.
This is what feminists actually believe, but they don't actually preach. So the origins of feminism actually came from the Internal Revenue Services and the Canada Revenue Agency.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was about 100 years ago, maybe 80, 85 years ago, they basically
there
were
was
saying,
a lot of sexism going around back then.
but this is not. But feminism has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll explain it quickly. So what happened was the taxation companies basically, and yes, to answer your question, yes, the JAGs will favor superior officers. They will favor a lot of things. They will favor women. They will favor all the things that they shouldn't.
I wouldn't say that they favored the women. I would say that it's more in a sense that if that woman went and started an uproar, she could have shook the foundation of that branch that they would have all had to feel it. So to not deal with the headache, they were trying to cut it off at the knees, even though it was the wrong thing to do. Exactly. They didn't want to deal with the headache that it could bring potentially.
And in theory, if these wars were not,
you guys don't know, women love bringing headaches.
They love it. That's one of the side effects.
This is borderline sexist joke.
One of the side effects of being heterosexual. So what happened was the Internal Revenue Services was like, look, we got 55% of the population working. How can we increase revenue? Okay, Canada Revenue Agency had the exact same thing. How can we increase income tax? Well, what we can do is we can team up with the Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services, as a lot of people don't know, Child Protective Services only makes money based on the amount of kids that they had in their custody last year. Okay? So if last year they had 5,000 kids in their custody, then they'll make this much of money. So if this year they have 10,000, then next year they'll make more money. So what happened was Child Protective Services eventually passed, they lobbied for a law to be passed that now the government will start funding Child Protective Services. Internal Revenue Services was like, hey, how do we make more money? So what they did is they teamed up and they said, let's break apart families and convince women to stop doing what the female of every mammal has been created to do.
Oh no, there's a lot of males that'll take care of his species as well. Species.
But the vast
generally, we'll say yes. The mother is the one who raises.
The vast majority of the time, okay. And I'll touch on what you're going to say right now too. Mm-hmm. I'll touch on that because you're going to kind of giggle and laugh. Okay. So basically, what they did is they started this quote unquote feminist movement, and what it was really to do was in order to double revenue and to make the children become wards of the state, or crown wards as they call them in Canada. Basically, as much as possible, get the children to be run by the government. The government raises your kids. Mm-hmm. The government will own your kids. This is where birth certificates come in, but we'll talk about that another time. And we will get women to start paying taxes by getting them out of the house and into jobs. Okay.
And neglecting their kids more, so they end up in government custody.
Exactly.
That's a pretty intense theory right there. I'm not going to lie.
This is why it's all documented too. Actually have it's all documented.
And it's funny how a lot of that gets shunned. You know what I mean? And anyone who thinks about even talking about this stuff is wearing a tinfoil hat, which is why I own one.
But here's the thing: do I need to show you government documents, or can you look outside after you stop and think about it and like, oh my God, Professor Mike said this and this and this. Walk around, okay? 87% of white families in North America are divorced, okay? You have the vast majority of children are being born to single-parent homes, okay? You've got, let's talk black statistics, okay? more than 75% of black men that are getting women pregnant do not even know the names of their children.
Ouch.
That's based on the Census Bureau, okay?
See,
so
and this is why people hate you, because you give them fact and they think it's racist. I give them the simple
fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple numbers.
And even Russell Peters, he's a guy from Toronto. I don't know if you ever heard of Russell Peters, the comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He made a joke one time. He's like, I did everything impossible to be black. I started talking with a Jamaican accent. I started wearing rainbow-colored hats. I started having kids I didn't even know about. Okay? He said that.
Yeah.
Now, that was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. That was okay. These days, we cannot tell the truth.
We're sensitive. No.
Okay?
We're a sensitive nation, man. Stay away from that.
We cannot talk about how last Saturday, Black Lives Matter went to the Gay Pride Parade in Toronto, the federal capital of Ontario. Not the capital of Canada, but the federal capital. 30 or 40 Black Lives Matter people went and sat in front of the Gay Pride Parade, okay, and said, we are not going to move. We are going to stop your parade. We are not going to move until the head of the Gay Pride Parade comes out and signs a contract meeting our demands. Okay?
So why are they having problems with each other?
The Black Lives Matter basically demanded that the Gay Pride Parade cannot happen without Black Lives Matter's permission.
Why would it need their permission?
I don't know.
Want it? Like, what do they even have to do with each other?
Am I supposed to say that Black Lives Matters are a bunch of bullies with their heads up their ass? I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm honest. I'm not allowed to be honest, but whatever.
Well, we call Microsoft a patent troll, so I think you're okay. I think you're clear.
Saying all lives matters. Saying all lives matter is actually racist to the Black Lives Matter people, because that means that you are saying white people are actually worth something. Okay? Black Lives Matter is allowed? Okay. Which, isn't that the black version of KKK? Which, find me a KKK member. They haven't been in the news for 60 years.
Well, it's become a lot more, what do they call that? Same thing with the gay movement and everything. That's come more socially accepted nowadays. You know what I mean?
White people don't
tolerances. There you go.
White people. Okay, I'm not white.
The new generation of white people don't generally give a shit. There are still a few out there.
There's a few hicks.
Have you ever seen a racist Asian person? Those are fucking hilarious. Like an old Vietnamese guy or an old Chinese guy that just hates black and Mexican people. Those are always fun to watch. But yeah, anyways, so we got to stop the race talk, man. Okay. We're going to piss people off. So we're going to go ahead and shut down the show. You can hang around and talk for a few minutes, but I got to head out after that. But anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We had a guest surprise show up from Mike Phillip, and then we have Mike the Professor that's been here for 2 hours with me bullshitting. We might even have to start our own little side show, not a tech show, but just us talking stupid stuff. Yeah, because technology is hard to incorporate when you're filled with so much information that's about like between health and politics and conspiracy. Maybe we need even a separate YouTube channel.
And that say it's okay to play at 900p, that you won't die.
Oh no, I would die. He might not die. Some of you guys might not die. I would die. Inside, I would die a little bit. So anyways, you guys, thanks for showing up. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate. Watch All Talk On every week.
Obviously.
Also, www.americanuckradio.com.
In the description.
In the description.
So is there email account? I threw it in there, by the way.
You can listen to us live on www.gcnlive.com. Find the little menu thingy. Click on Americanuck Radio. You can listen to us live. We're live every Saturday at 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. Central Time.
And extremely informative stuff.
I have no idea what time that would be in Afghani time, but I'm pretty sure it's 12-hour difference, or close to that, maybe 10-hour difference. If you guys are wondering about Afghan standard time.
I was going to say, I feel like it's Middle Eastern time, not Afghan. You totally went racist for a second there. You can't call it Afghan time.
Well, why? Well,
then you could call it U.S. time. That's not racist.
Hey, everybody. Have you guys all heard of Tower 7?
No.
Oh, no, of course you didn't hear about it. The World Trade Center has multiple buildings. Now, you guys keep calling it the Twin Tower attack. The Twin Tower.
Oh, the third tower that collapsed?
There were 3 towers.
Yeah. Okay, I did. Okay, then I do know what you're talking about then. Yes, of course.
More than 98% of Americans have no clue
that the
third tower fell and no, there were the
Well,
planes,
no, the funniest part was that the third tower fell, and the lady said that it had just fell, and
And
behind
it was still
her,
in
it was
the
still
background.
standing in the background. Yeah,
still
I thought
standing.
that was hilarious.
Yeah, the BBC reporter and the CNN reporter, they're reporting live. Oh my God, Tower 7 just fell. And then you have video clips of the Jewish guy who owned the buildings. He bought them like, 2 weeks before the World Trade Center shit
Oh, and the
happened.
ridiculous amount of insurance money
Insurance
they took
that he
out.
took out.
Yeah,
Okay.
right before the attack.
So many people in the United States and Canada actually believe that a Saudi Arabian oil prince, don't forget, bin Laden was Saudi Arabian. He's not Afghani, he was Saudi Arabian, who lived in the United States for more than 15 years, okay, is affiliated with the CIA, and actually Beavis and Butthead made fun of it in 1994. Okay, Beavis and Butthead, there was Mike Judge already knew that the whole Twin Tower thing was going to happen in 1994, because this thing was actually supposed to happen a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people believe that a Saudi Arabian oil prince that lived in the United States for more than 15 years, is affiliated with the CIA and FBI, is capable of orchestrating an attack using a laptop in a cave in one of the poorest countries in the world. So Buddy takes his little laptop,
So
you know,
he's
he
a pioneer.
goes into
He's
his
an
cave,
entrepreneur
you know, while he's growing, he's growing his 25-foot beard, right?
that everyone made him out have.
And he speaks perfect English. Actually, a lot of people don't know that he has an American accent. And
15 years in America, I hope he would.
yeah, you'd assume, right? Especially somebody as smart as him. So you're gonna
You're just gonna see this video has been blocked. Like that's just what's gonna
banned
happen. Yeah,
from
banned.
the world. Of course, because we're being honest. So a Saudi oil prince lived in the United States, affiliated with the CIA, took a laptop, went into a cave in Afghanistan, and buttfuck nowhere.
This is the story that Americans
This is
been
the
told.
official story, yes. And he orchestrated an attack on one of the most powerful countries in the world, okay, with one of the highest secured airport security system. Now,
With our own airplanes,
with our own airplanes,
and our own American lives.
with no actual registration codes for those three planes. Okay, there was the two that hit the towers and the one that hit the quote unquote hit the Pentagon. They were not actually registered as flights, active flights originally. They just happened to put that information in the next day. We didn't have a list of passengers until the next day, of course. Okay, because nobody was on it. Maybe? You know? There was no remains of any human beings from the planes.
Well,
Okay.
they did kind of hit pretty hard and explode and get tumbled under a lot
But
of
still,
rubble.
still, I
Nobody
could
left.
find somebody's left testicle somewhere. Okay, and the one thing that they did find. Did you hear the one thing that they did find after all that rubble and stuff? They found a perfectly intact passport that must have been from one of the pilots or the hijackers. Okay, no, it was obviously placed there, and it's total bullshit. Okay, but yeah, the only thing that survived the rubble was a perfectly intact passport, no dust on it or anything.
Incriminating somebody.
Incriminating
obviously.
somebody, a patsy, right? That you could put a target on. I think his name was Khalid Jarrah or something like that they had, which actually I think is a Lebanese
Yeah,
or.
if you guys don't know, Mike, the professor is multilingual.
Yeah, I speak quite a few languages and read and write quite a few languages as well. So yeah, hence how I could pronounce letters
Right.
and words.
I would have been like Hopper Halamala. Like, yeah, no, I would have murdered that name in a heartbeat. So continue. Make it quick though. We got to shut it down. We're at 2.5 hours.
Anyway, so you got 3 buildings that fell. I've seen countries, I've been in the military and stuff like that. When a plane hits a building does not fall in on itself. It does not collapse in on itself. A building
doesn't
will
collapse from the bottom.
It doesn't
either.
collapse. It doesn't collapse. You can't find me videos of fucking buildings falling down. They get hit with RPG rockets and all this stuff. You don't see buildings just going, and you don't see them going, boom. You see a big chunk of the wall. This shit's going to get blown out. People are going to fall out. Fire's going to happen, but the building will not collapse. You're going to tell me
built to not collapse.
These things were built earthquake-proof, tornado-proof. The most wealthy buildings in all of the world.
Technologically advanced engineering is what it is.
Yeah, the pinnacle of engineering. Okay, and I don't give a shit who tells me, oh well, engineering's changed in the last 50 years or whatever. No, not much. Not much in terms of technology has really changed. Okay, we got touchscreens and stuff, but for the most part, medical diagnostics is the same as it's been for the past 50 years. architecture, all this crap. It's the same shit. We just refined it. But
Yeah.
but you can't tell me
It's
that a
generally
plane
the same concept.
plane hits, building goes like this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that with Jenga. You know Jenga, when you put those little blocks together? Okay? When you hit it, it falls down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But buildings don't do that. Okay? And then they turn around and they say, "Oh yeah, well, you know, somehow the jet fuel burnt hot enough, which it can't, but they said somehow it burnt hot enough to melt the bars."
Yeah.
Well, no, you have
There's
something called
concrete too.
yeah, you have concrete. There's something called thermite.
Mm-hmm.
Thermite is used to detonate buildings like that.
Yeah.
And that's why when the guy who had the insurance policy, the Jewish guy, said, "Yeah, I told them to pull the plug on Tower 7." He said it on a live fucking interview.
Of course he did.
He told them to pull the plug on Tower 7 because of his insurance policy.
But yeah, so that'll end it
Anyway.
for our show.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking around for the hour and a half of what is it called again? Tinfoil Hat Talk. We might even just start a new YouTube channel called the Tin Hat Channel, and we'll just talk about conspiracies because no one can get enough of these. You know what I mean? And granted, obviously, I can't pick from what's true and what's not true. I'm the kind of guy that does the live and let live, and regardless of me being,
I'm gonna do my my first
you
impression.
should make your own YouTube channel.
I'm gonna do an impression of you know what? I honestly didn't like doing this shit until Mike begged me to go on the Dr. Glidden show years ago, and then now I'm doing radio shows and whatever. I used to just be a big mouth that'll go to universities and, you know, bitch out professors. They call me the professor because I'm such a nerd, and also because I usually outsmart professors. But this is my imitation of a liberal North American listening to something logical. Nah, 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 I can't hear you. They're blocking their eyes saying, "I can't hear you." That's how
course.
dumb they are.
There you go. So as you guys can see, we've had a great show. We've had some surprise visitors. We're gonna end it this time for real.
Yes, okay.
We got way too into this, and it was fun. And I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to you guys. So say goodbye. If you want to wave at them real quick before I hit stop streaming. Make sure to tune in next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.